Yo, W intro. What the heck? I wasn't expecting that. Yeah. How you doing today, bro? That's what's up. I'm doing all right. Just got home from Vespers. Hey, did you see those quotes that they put in the journal? Yeah, yeah, that's from Stanny Loy quotes that. Yeah, no, that's crazy. Real. Oh, mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. So so with Joseph Berenios's way is like the way Mark of Ephesus used it in the syllogistic chapters, right?
Yeah, basically saying that due to the fact that the Son manifests the Spirit, he can't
Hmm.
be the Spirit. That's the whole argument. So
Hmm.
it's literally,
Yeah.
yeah, it's because of the
So,
fact that
by
there's
the
an
way,
action of the Son to the Spirit in terms of
mhm.
manifestation, and the fact that the Spirit rests in the Son. They can't be each other because their actions are occurring between two people.
Yeah, when I was explaining, so for example, the screenshot that I sent you of that one guy, I'm just not gonna say it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
It was after I was explaining, what's it called? How Mark of Ephesus talks about relation to contradiction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, distinction of contradiction.
Yeah. So yeah, that was just absolutely like just dumb.
Nin or the Son, but only the Father, but only the Father just disproved it. Disprove what? I'm confused. No school, Burl. He'll be here in a minute. He said he would hop on here shortly. Bro, it's so hot in my room for some reason. Wow. Romans 16:16 disproves denominations. Church shouldn't be separate. It's not. Orthodoxy is pre-denominational, so it doesn't apply to us. Historically, we existed prior to any denominations existing. So, who caused denominations to exist? It wasn't us.
And the Orthodox Church is one because the liturgy is one.
Exactly. It's a one communion, man. One belief, one system.
One spirit, one baptism.
Gotta check the temperature, dude. It is crazy hot in my room. I'm gonna like pass out in like 20 minutes. Oh, it's literally 74 in the house. That's crazy. Wow. Turn that down. Boom. LOL, dude made that list on ChatGPT. No, actually, I used Notepad. Yeah, I used Notepad. Make it, and then I screenshotted it. I don't really study EO. I just saw different denoms. Correct. There are different denominations, but those people are not part of the church. So that's why denominations exist, because it's a bunch of heretics fighting over who's right. Simple as that. Now I got the midstream comb so that I stop picking at it. Bad habit. You guys are going to see a lot more combing of the beard now, because it's a lot better of a habit than picking at it. The Bible was written in order to control people. It's based in nonsense. Do you have any evidence for that, brother? I would love to see how you know that.
Hello, schoolboy.
Tempo.
What's up, man? Axiom.
Can you define picking at your beard?
No.
Because
Yeah, it would just.
because
It's a paradigmatic.
I'm perpetually petting mine.
I'm always picking at mine would be like pulling on hairs and pulling hairs out.
Oh,
Oh, what I'm doing right
It's
now.
a habit that I have.
that's wild.
It's just it's a nervous tick. Like when you're like stressed out or anxious about anything, like you just start like doing this with your beard, and
I just
sometimes you
stroke mine.
accidentally pull it out.
Well, mine gets tangled. Mine
what?
gets tangled and knotted, and sometimes they break.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that, Mexodox. It's a bad habit, and you're gonna decrease the health of your beard and cause it to start looking patchy and gross the more you pick at it like that. What's up, Pope? How you doing,
Chatty's
man?
calling me out.
What?
I said you're calling me out right now
Yeah,
with a
don't
thin
look
beard.
at your beard, man. Switch it to just combing it consistently, and it fulfills the tick.
Nah, bro, you gotta do the thinker's pose.
Real.
Something like that, yeah.
Bro is not the thinker.
Bro is literally not the thinko.
This is what I do throughout the day, all day.
Sheesh.
Bro looks like a philosopher.
Literally. Yeah, we definitely got to get in a call, GT. That's for
That's
sure.
the real philosophy right there.
Real. You know, Elder Cleopa, he says that the greatest philosophy is death.
Yup.
W, bro.
I mean, realistically, think about it. Like, what does philosophy mean?
To think.
No, it's philosophia, the love of wisdom. What is wisdom? It is a person. It is
Christ.
Christ. The love of Christ is the true philosophy.
Yeah. He said, Elder Cleopa says that his brothers, they would sleep in a coffin to contemplate death.
I finally got an icon of St. Photius.
Really?
Yeah.
Where it at?
I was trying to find it, but I haven't put it up yet.
He's just gonna see it in his young daughter's hand, just kissing it.
Yeah, I got St. Paisios, St. Basil, and St. Photius. It was supposed to be St. Gregory Palamas, but they sent me the wrong icon. But it's alright.
Oh, the Photius one was supposed to be Palamas?
No, the Basil one that I got was supposed to be Palamas.
Yeah, it's still St. Basil, so based.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, alright, it's whatever. I'll just reorder the Palamas one.
Where'd you get it from?
I think it's called Damascene Supply.
Hmm.
It's pretty well known. It's tied to a monastery.
I've never heard that one.
Yeah, they have these certificates. They have these little certificates on the back.
Oh.
Pretty sure that's where my cross came from too. Is it written in Greek and it's got the wax stamp on it?
Yes, correct. 13
Yup.
viewers is diabolical. Yep. It'll bump up, Nick. Don't worry. It happens. It always starts off like this, you know, and then somebody comes up. And if nobody comes up tonight, that's fine. Not even a big deal. We can just hang out and shoot the shit. Doesn't bother me.
Bryce, I was thrust on the chant stand tonight at Vespers, and I don't think I've ever sweat as much in church.
Oh yeah. Boost. I think I will boost tonight. Say that's a good idea. I got paid yesterday. I'll boost alive.
Just,
A little later.
hack into the system using your FBI things.
Make sure you guys are smacking that like button. Like button's gonna get people back in here. We're already at 26 now, so it's moving up. Do people make that?
Zay, I couldn't decide whether to go like tenor or, well, I don't even know what my vocal range is, but I can hit either low notes or like mid to high notes, and just out of nervousness I stuck around the mid to high notes.
You don't know if your parish does Vespers? That is possible, but
You should go camp on Saturday night.
yeah, just go camping at church on Saturday night and just stay there every night until they start doing it.
Real.
They'll eventually notice that you're doing it. Do people that follow the old covenant make it to heaven? I don't know who makes it to heaven, but I know dang well if they're only following the old covenant and not accepting the new covenant of Christ, that they are not accepting the wisdom that has been given to us. And they're not accepting that love. If they believe that the old law is still in place. So, do it that way you will. Me when I'm a Roman Catholic, no reaction. Best book to read on epistemology. Oh my gosh, dude. There was a book that I literally freaking read on that. I know a couple good papers. But books? I'm not sure. Those dang Torah observers, bro. Mm-mm-mm.
Yo, Bryce, one day I'll find you a Sanguinarius Scholarios icon.
I had a talk with Cataclysm today. He has one. He got one.
Hmm?
Yeah.
How?
Ananda gave it to him from the monastery that Ananda was at Mount Athos. They have him at Mount
Dang, that's
Athos.
lucky. All right, you know what that means, Bryce.
Bro. Hold on. Oh, there goes my phone.
Yo, that's so cool.
That's crazy. Yeah. Me need. Me need.
Yeah, Nando went to Athos.
Yep. So I am. They don't actually use unleavened bread memento. They take leavened bread and then they smash it. I have a Jesus action figure, very based. Yeah. Remember back in like the early 2000s, Schoolboy, where like the main portrayal of Jesus was that he was super ripped. Like, you know, he's got the cross on both of his arms and he's like breaking the cross or whatever. Those paintings were so freaking badass. Back in the day, I used to see that and be like, I don't believe in that guy, but that's dope. Technically, he was shredded. Yes, for the standards of that time, he probably was extremely shredded. Did you see my giant family Bible? I did see that, Slowy. I saw your picture. I saw the picture that you posted. It was pretty crazy. I'm gonna spend 65 bucks.
Why does Talon have freaking Protestant roles in the server?
I don't know. He leaves.
Why is Talon
it.
in the server?
He usually just wants to witness debates that go down. So, I don't know.
There isn't even a.
He appears.
And what are
every
people
couple
saying
months.
about Jay becoming Catholic?
Jay?
Yeah,
Bro.
Ortho Jay. Jason.
Who's saying that?
I don't know. They're saying it in general chat right now. I don't know who was pushing
He
it.
actually became Catholic. Really? I'll check TikTok.
No, Jay just be trolling, bro.
That's what I'm sure. That's what I'm. Yeah.
He did say he was quitting apologetics. Oh. Maybe I've been wrong all along. Yeah, sure. The guy that's so hostile towards the papacy suddenly now understands via the papacy.
Yeah, what's it called, Nick? I'll
Um,
send you an invite to the server.
Yeah. Discord.gg. It's actually right at the bottom here. Discord.gg/orthodoxos if you want to join.
I launched him the invite.
Nah, he always do this. Yeah, true. Yeah. He has fake Shubahat arcs, and it's really funny. Fake Shubahat arcs are so hilarious, bro.
Yeah, Catholics get hyped too.
Maybe
Just
I
for
was
him to
wrong
come back
all
with a
along.
crazy new argument.
I know, right? He's always like,
No,
man, I guess maybe I was wrong all along, and then he'll just be like, Saint Peter
Nope.
really wasn't the the first pope or something. Like,
yo,
he,
no,
he
you know,
leads, he leads them up for weeks.
You want to know the irony on that story? Look at the icon he used.
What are you looking at me for? I'm chilling. I'm making sure you're fine. You're the one that looks like you're about to do a backflip and throw the kid. I don't know what you want from me. I'm just messing with you.
Rob Gronkowski style, just spike the kid.
That's what I do. I'm kidding.
That's why the baby's crying now, isn't it?
Baby's upset because she's tired.
Yeah, Bryce, think of the icon that Jay used on there
Through that.
on that story.
What'd you say?
Think about the icon he used on that story.
Yeah, true. That's the establishment of Rome icon, right? The Orthodox one?
Yeah, with Saint Peter and Saint Paul.
Yeah. Threatening my kid anathema. Threatening my kid anathema if he misses bedtime. That's so base.
Real. He gonna put his kid into the
Hmm.
anathema litany.
Mm. Oh, here we go. Okay, so all right, so I got this thing here that I guess we'll go ahead and review. So inside of the submissions, somebody submitted a video to review of Metaphysics Mike. You guys know who that
Mm,
is. He holds a
yeah,
very
I bugged
strange. He
him.
he has a very strange view of Christianity. He believes in this thing called monarchical dynamism, which pretty much is where Christ is like a myriology of the Father, and that the Holy Spirit is just the Father and the Son.
Gross.
Okay. Um. Let's turn that off for a sec. Okay. So this is a video that was sent. And we're gonna take a look at it real quick here. Let me just put this down a little bit so I can still see my own face here. Just, because I'm so beautiful. There we go. And it's better for the recording that I'm doing as well, so that they can see it. I can totally understand why he thinks that, though. LOL. I am. All right.
And the Son fully and equally God?
Yes.
Is Jesus the Father?
We've been over this. No, he's not the Father.
Okay, if Jesus and the Father are not each other and they're both fully and equally God, how is that not two gods?
Because they share the same essence.
Do you and I share the same essence?
No.
No. Okay,
What?
can you give an example?
Okay, who is he debating?
Oh
Uh,
my gosh.
Who's he debating? Brother. Okay.
where do these people come from?
Okay.
An example of any two persons who share a nature like the persons in the Trinity do.
Why would I? We're not God. That would
His
make
name's
sense.
Metaphysics Mike.
Okay, so then let's make it very clear. You are special pleading for both person and nature because the persons are persons in a sense like nothing else called person is a person. Just saying.
That's not true. We literally hold to the fact that the way that hypostases work as humans is the same as the way that, in terms of a generic sense, the way that a hypostasis would work in God. It's not the problem. We can actually attribute different like attributes, for example, to us, like in a way that we would say that God could possess attributes. Not like saying that like God has accidents or anything like that, but in terms of the fact that you can see there is some genericness to it. Divine nature, there's essential properties. Human nature, there's essential properties. Right? These things exist. By the way, if anybody in here wants me to review videos like this in any way, shape, or form, or ask questions, they can go in the Discord. They can submit videos and questions into the submissions channel, and I will watch them on live and review them. Even if it's a meme, if you guys want to just post a meme, I really don't care. I will watch a meme, as long as the meme is appropriate, of course, for TikTok and I don't get banned. But anyway, let's continue to see what else he's got going on. So yeah, if anybody in the chat right now wants to submit anything, they're more than welcome to. Please keep it short. If it's a video, don't make it some crazy long video like my boy Guts did earlier today, where he said, can somebody refute this video I have? And I'm like, yeah, just put it in the submissions. I'm going live today. And then he sent me a 2-hour video.
Oh, Guts is cool, dude. I like Guts a lot.
I know he is really cool, but I just thought it was really funny.
Which video was it?
It's like it's a video from Scholastic Essentialism or something like that, and it's like Eastern Orthodoxy refuted, but it's like 2 hours long.
Jordan,
They share
you don't
the
want
same
my
essence.
submissions. We'll have to watch
The
Pastor
person.
Nathan.
Just saying they share the
man.
same essence means nothing because there's no other example you can give of what that even means.
Okay, so this argument only works, by the way, if the guy's answer is saying that we don't have the same essence is true. That's not true. Right?
Yep.
That's legitimately not the case. We both have human essence. We both have human nature. If you want to talk about it in the individual sense, like a hypostasis being an individualized essence, sure, why not? but there's still a root principle to where that essence derives from, which is why we would still share the same essence, divine nature, things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
That
Metaphysics
argument
Mike
only
is
works if
definitely
we approach it.
performing. He's performing a proper internal critique of whatever that guy is proposing,
Yeah,
whatever nonsense.
yeah. That was probably the best straw man to Orthodox theology I think I've heard yet. But it's a straw man because
Yep.
metaphysics Mike likes to do that. He thinks he knows what he's talking about, and he holds this weird fringe ass position. Yeah, I thought I would do that because somebody had sent that, so I hope that they get to see the recording. But
So, to the guy, what does this guy hold? The black guy.
huh?
What is he? The black guy. What is he?
The black guy, he's a Trinitarian, I think.
What is,
Yeah.
really?
He did used to linger in the comments here. I had a conversation with him a long time ago, and we actually had scheduled to do a formal debate, and then he never replied to me. So that was how that ended up going. We were actually going to debate his view versus the Trinity prior to Nicaea, and he ended up kind of just disappearing. So I just never talked to him again, which is fine. I mean, he's strange. His view's strange. I think Nick cooked him. I'm pretty sure.
Nick and Dom did actually. He doesn't he no longer wants to interact with Dom.
Yeah.
He does not like Dom anymore.
Yikes. Poor Dom.
Yeah, there also there's multiple fallacies and just mischaracterizations when people like go that whole like, oh, this guy's a human. Like three humans, weren't they? Weren't they? You know, wasn't this trend? I mean, there's so many things you can kind of get into. Number one, persons hypostases aren't instantiations of a universal or something like that. I don't know why people typically try to run it. I guess they can get confused if they don't get the minutia of things, but sure.
Yeah.
Also, like in a token energy in is it tipos energy? Like energy type and token.
Energy type. Yeah.
Yeah.
Energy type and token.
Way we act right, way we have the same
Mhm.
energy type, but we actualize it differently respective to our personage. So
Yep.
it's
Cappadocians are very serious about energy type and tokens, man. They're very serious about that stuff.
I'm going back into the Cappadocians myself.
It's pretty wild how many times that they actually make that clarification. I mean, literally the entire Adablabius or on not three gods is not making the argument at all that God's one because it's one essence. He literally says that like that argument does not work in the very beginning
Yeah.
of the paper. He's like, that doesn't work because we have the same nature. So it's better to say that we're all one man. Right? He's
Exactly.
being
He says
sarcastic.
it's an abusive language. He said it's an abusive language.
Yeah, so then he
But
goes
but
on
it's
to
so
make the
weird.
entire argument for how God is one because of energy. That's how we know he's one.
Exactly. And it's so weird. And obviously I'm guilty of this myself. But like when you start getting into apologetics, and you start learning about the Trinity, and probably because you heard it from other people, right, previously, but that's the whole thing. Like, oh yeah, they have one essence.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everybody goes to. And I think that's obviously from Western influence. Everybody for the West, they start with the essence instead of person of the Father. And from that, if you start with the person of the Father, obviously from the Orthodox mind, you're gonna go to what the Cappadocians teach and teach the energies is how we principally distinguish the persons by act and the source of the energies.
You're fine, by the way. I'm checking my my sound. It's not really coming through very well. Like her crying, it's barely. It's like barely coming through. Even on the recording, like it's like you may hear a soft
What's the
cry.
loudest liturgy baby you've ever heard?
This is probably only gonna happen for like 30, 45 minutes.
The ones at my church.
It's not a big deal. Don't stress about it. All right.
Yeah.
Just
Now,
The
what's
tr-
more?
if the church ain't crying, it's dying.
Fair,
Yep.
but there was one when I went to go to that Hawaiian to see the variant icon, right? And it was so interesting because there were these two monks there, and I think they accompany the icon. But they're sitting there like praying and everything. They stand up and
Okay.
they go up to the front and they have a
give me
word
2
with
minutes. I'm gonna help my wife rotate her baby carrier thing that she's using. She's playing Minecraft right now, so there might be some baby crying tonight on stream, but chat will get over that because my wife comes first. You know what I'm saying?
Big
we're
facts.
used to baby crying, right? But yeah, so the two monks are praying, and then his two kids, like toddler-ish thing, and I could tell the mother's pretty young. It's just like a group of women like administering the children. These two kids were screaming their freaking minds off, bro. It was so insane. So when I'm in there and he's doing the whole akathis, or he's doing the whole akathis to Mary to Theotokos, and they're screaming. Nobody is like batting an eye, by the way. Priest, he just gets louder and just starts, he gets louder. Nobody bats an eye. And this is it's a Ukrainian. It's a Ukrainian Orthodox church. A canonical Ukrainian Orthodox church. Nobody bats an eye. I don't get it. I'm turning my head every 5 seconds. I don't know. Maybe because I wasn't a bad kid, but I don't get how people didn't notice.
You said what's the loudest liturgy, baby?
Yeah, because I was saying when I was to see that Iberian icon, there were two. It was a canonical Ukrainian Orthodox church,
Mm-hmm.
and there were two toddlers, right? And obviously they're standing only. They're kind of like running around a bit too, but they're also screaming their heads off. Nobody bats an eye. The priest just continues to say the akathist to Theotokos to the icon. Like
Yeah.
nothing's happening. I'm the only one who's like, oh,
The craziest situation that I ever had was my own daughter. So we were in the liturgy. Elena decided to leave because she had some friends that were apparently like running around outside the nave. We kind of just let them do that sometimes, or over in the. I always forget the
narthex.
narthex.
Do you guys have a cry room?
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah, we do. So they ran out of the door, like the double doors, right? And she was gone for a while, but she was with a bunch of kids, right? And then the church, like the Sunday school teacher, she usually just kind of like walks around and kind of like tries to push kids back into the church, right? That's pretty much what she does. And but Elena apparently was asking a bunch of questions, and the lady was just entertaining it, whatever. And then some kid, like a teenage age, made her a freaking balloon animal, like sword. Right? This is it's gonna get so much worse.
It's not a sword, it's a cross. She was holding it upside down.
It was a freaking swashbuckler sword, bro. It was freaking crazy. So I'm just sitting there. Chat? What about chat? What did you say in chat?
Talking about her Minecraft
Are
chat?
you gonna put something in chat? Oh, she's gonna put something in chat. No, she's not talking about Minecraft. I'm not on Minecraft right now. But she escaped me while I was feeding the baby. Yes, sorry. So I wasn't with her, right? So when Hannah goes to feed the baby, right? She breastfeeds, so she just goes and goes to the nursery room, right? And Elena decides to go with her because that's usually what she does. And so she escapes, gets a balloon sword. And then next thing you know, I'm sitting there in the liturgy. Great entrance, right? Happening. They're back up at the up by the iconostasis doing prayers, right? And Elena runs through the double doors. Dad, I got a sword. The boy made me a sword. Do you want a sword? And I literally go. I literally was just like, I don't know who that is. I just kept watching the liturgy. Did you send that video that you sent me, by the way, Zay? It's a
No
schoolboy.
way. Which one?
The one of Shane Gillis.
Oh yeah. I gotta send
Did
it
you
to
watch
him.
that, schoolboy? No, hold on. I'm gonna.
I
No,
gotta
he
s-
hasn't sent it to me yet.
I gotta send it to him.
Bro,
Which one? I've probably seen it.
it's this shit, dude.
Getting out to the narthex was so nice, though. During Mass, just be like, I have to go to the bathroom, and your parents would be like, no, you. I know you don't have to go. Like, fuck the poop. Dad, I have to shit. Dad, shut the up. Shut the up right now. My dad would spend the the full hour. Just the most furious anyone's ever been. Start to finish of mass, you'd be like, you made a noise, you'd be like, shut the fuck up. Come here. Come here.
Dude, that is the most
Yeah.
realistic freaking relatable thing on the planet, bro. Because
Yeah.
if you didn't know me, you would think I'm pissed off at liturgy the whole time. Like you'd think that.
Do you think
My
Andrew
daughter's trying
Schultz
as
is
like-
hard as she can
There's like
to do
there's
dumb
like
shit?
5 dads like that. There's like 5 dads where there's one dad especially, bro. This kid, he's like 4, right? And he's like, he's pretty. The thing is, he knows what he's doing because he's pretty smart now, and he knows when not to. So like when they're doing when they're calling down the consecration gifts, when they're calling down the Holy Spirit, he'll be dead quiet. But when it's something like I won't say medium, but not something like that's in transition from a prayer, he'll do something like insanely stupid. So the dad's like, shut
Yeah.
your mouth.
Shut up.
Do you think Andrew Schultz is going to bring Shane to orthodoxy?
I think so, yeah. I didn't even
Maybe.
know Andrew Schultz was Orthodox, bro.
He's not.
What?
He's not orthodox.
Well, he's really
He
good
wasn't?
at he's
He
really
said
good
he
at
went to
apologetics. He's really good at apologetics.
All right. He
Did you watch the whole video? He's like, no,
this
this cab driver in Turkey, like laid it all out for me, like
was a
based
cab
cab
driver?
driver, dude.
Wow.
Bro, I thought he talked to a priest.
No, we need to start a taxi cab company and just have a captive audience and convert people that way.
Ortho Uber? Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, like
Uber.
lift up your heart. The joke that we made in Jim Bob's server last night was like lift, but it's lift up your hearts.
When he says lift up, like let us lift up your hearts, does everybody look up?
I did the first time
I'm
that they said that. It was like, let us lift up our
well,
hearts. I was like,
yeah. Yeah, we have so like sometimes they'll do it, sometimes they won't do it. Our priest always does it, but like sometimes the congregation will do it, sometimes the congregation won't do it.
Technically,
let my guards die. Sorry.
technically, the priest is the one that's supposed to hold up their arms like that.
Okay, yeah, so no one else does it except him.
Technically, yeah.
Okay, so I'm good then. I've never done it, so I never look like an idiot.
Dude,
Ooh.
I sunburned my bald spots.
Jordan,
Dude.
that's really good.
Sunburned my bald spots.
It's dude. When I went to talk to Cliff, I did not put on sunscreen that day, and I usually wear hats when I'm in the sun, and I was not wearing a hat that day. My forehead peeled twice.
Ugh.
That's terrible.
Zay
Yeah,
Zay doesn't
just
know
be
what that's like.
black. Yeah,
Zay-
just be black. It's easier. It's easier. Just be black.
Yeah, exactly, dude. We should go start the company in Istanbul. Turn
Yeah.
it back into Constantinople by cab
Damn,
driving.
let's go.
Debates tonight.
Speaking of which, bro, hey.
Somebody comes up, absolutely. If nobody comes
No,
up,
let's just
we're
let's
gonna
just
hang out
start. Let's just start it in Rome.
in Rome. That'd be funny.
Real.
That would be funny.
That would be really funny.
Yes,
Down at
do
the
you,
local level,
do
start
you
converting
know
everybody.
about...
Tell them
do
that
you-
the Filioque is bad and everything like that. Tourists come around, they're trying to go see the basilica and everything.
Just
You're
snap
telling
my
them how
neck
bad
back.
the Filioque is. Right, tell them how bad the Filioque is, and they're going in there. Wait, this isn't supposed to be here. Wait, Sacred Heart, this isn't supposed to be here.
No, Zay, even
They
better,
start
you
wondering
just
what's going
take
on.
them, into St. Peter's Basilica, where it still has the original creed after John
The
VIII.
the two shields, the two
Yeah.
shields in Latin and in Greek.
It's like, see, it's right here.
I do pray for the reunification, Joseph. I do pray that the Vatican undoes 15 councils and comes back to the truth.
Yeah.
Yo,
Thanks.
And in the 15 councils, doesn't the 15 councils consist of like 30 things? There was a church father, I forgot who it was. I don't know if it was a church father or if it was just an elder or a priest or patriarch who specifically wrote a letter. I think Jay mentioned this.
Granted, there are actually
Wrote a letter to Francis.
There are a lot of councils actually in the West that we don't affirm, but are like theologically valid. Right. I mean,
Consistent,
like some
I
of them
guess.
like that just talk about like generic theology or problems or canon-based problems. Like they're the same as ours. It's just since we're not the same church anymore, of course, they didn't involve
We're not
us.
going to validate. Right. Exactly. We weren't
Bryce, I
represented.
think
Admit they're in error and
I think I
reconcile.
need to.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Confusion. You're right.
I think I need to let you know this, but our conversation earlier, I was so stressed out during it that I am packing 2 9mm lip pillows right now.
9 mil, not 2 9 millis.
Yeah,
Are you down to 9?
I'm down to the 9s. Yeah,
Okay.
I was on 15s at one point. I worked my way down to 9s.
Nice. That's legit.
At least it's not the 36s that Orthocast is rocking, dude.
Yeah.
36 is crazy.
Yeah, 36 is actually crazy. The Christian Will, can I come up? Sure, why not, man? We're just
That's
hanging out
really
tonight. We're
bonkers.
just hanging out tonight, possibly tonight. So, what's up, man?
Hey,
Oh,
so
yeah.
what are your opinions on pineapple on pizza?
I think.
Come on, man.
I think it's demonic.
Okay, so you want to debate on if pineapple belongs on pizza? I'm a culinary student, by the way. So,
That's really not what we're
You're a
here for.
culinary student?
but yeah, I don't know. It's just a fun topic. I've debated on it before.
How do you know that you actually
You would
have
like it in
the
the
correct
Discord.
authority to debate for it?
I have a better culinary debate for you.
What's up?
Oh no.
I am going to take the affirmative, and Pop Tarts are raviolis.
I affirm that.
Pop
as well.
tarts or
What?
raviolis?
I hold that too.
Honestly,
You guys are sick.
I have to agree. Pop tarts are ravioli.
Yo, easy.
Thank you.
Easy
Thank you.
debunk.
Culinary student
I can
appeal
see
to
it.
authority W.
I just don't see any reason why not.
I mean, yeah, it would be
Yes.
logically consistent to say. I just don't think it's sound to say.
If America became holy, right, and we started establishing new laws, I think that one of the next council, one of the canons, should be that pineapple should not be on pizza. I think it should be dogmatic.
Quick question.
Okay.
Out of curiosity.
Yeah,
What would
so-
happen? Oh no, go ahead.
So yeah, I think objectively speaking, on how dishes are put together, pineapple does belong on pizza. Because
Christian, well,
so basically,
do you think pizza is an open-faced sandwich?
so sandwiches are defined as toppings between two pieces of bread. So by definition, it would be a sandwich.
Thank you. See?
Schoolboy's just taking so many W's tonight, bro.
But anyways,
It wouldn't be an
yeah, as
act
I was saying,
confusion.
so
It
how
would be a
dishes
canon. What'd you say?
How dishes work is you got to balance fat and acidity, right? So, for example, you have the
Tomato
avocado
paste.
and lime being the fat and acidity in guacamole, right? So, pineapple on pizza, right? You want at least like two instances of acidity that go along with the fat. So, on pizza, you would have cheese and then tomato and pineapple. Tomato and pineapple both have a pH of around 4.0, so they go well together to balance out the fat of the cheese.
I can't do this. This dude knows too much freaking
You can
numbers.
accomplish the same thing with balsamic vinegar, right? And with minus the pineapple if you're going for acidity.
Well, yeah, exactly. So yeah, balsamic vinegar also belongs on pizza. I'm just saying they both belong on pizza.
Okay,
So
as long as I
does this
can
go for
include balsamic
anything
vinegar,
that's
right?
does this go
Makes
for
sense.
anything that would have the pH level of a pineapple?
Yeah, around 4.0. Yeah.
1 second.
Wait a minute. Wait, Joseph, on what do we disagree with each other about? You're wrong or unionists that disagree with each other on what? Please don't pull the voice of reason
Well,
low tier
it depends.
that he
It
did with
depends on
Uki
the it depends on
Petrus.
the food. It depends on the food because there's like other aspects that go into it. But yeah, but pineapple, its main thing is the acidity. There's not really any other aspect.
I've eaten it. I wouldn't be mad at it.
I debated a dude who does Catholic apologetics on this very topic. He conceded in 5 minutes.
Would you also hold to the fact that anything that is capable of being 8 at 4.0 pH belongs on pizza?
Depends on the thing.
Lead.
There's other aspects that go into it. What?
Lead.
Lead? Lead isn't edible.
Yeah, it is. How is it not edible?
No. Yeah, so lead has like health, like
What makes it not edible?
you can't eat it without having health risks.
Same with pizza.
No, but lead has like worse health risk. Like it's
No.
like
What's the
like you get lead poisoning.
Yeah. What's the criteria for like when it becomes too unhealthy?
Well, everything has like I forget the name of it, but everything has a point where like once you eat like a certain amount of it, it'll kill you. I think it's called like I forget the
Like
name of it.
threshold?
But anyways, like yeah, honestly, like lead's the amount of lead you can consume is too low for it to be considered edible.
For it to be considered edible. So again, like what is the criteria though?
Yes.
Bro's
Okay,
literally having pizza,
Bro,
man.
this man literally lives pizza. Like he lives
I do
pizza.
live
This
pizza.
is crazy.
I gotta
Little
go.
Caesars is the best fast food. Is the best what's it called, pizza
Nah,
place?
you're
That's
disgusting. Get
like
out of
Nah,
here.
that's
Drop this
like
guy. Drop
that's
this
national.
cook,
guy.
bro.
That's
Drop
a
this
What's it
guy.
called?
that's
They
Drop this
pay
a
me
guy.
on that.
Yo,
that's a
Drop this
catechumen
guy.
noose, bro. What the
Oh
fuck?
Yeah,
no.
dude. That's crazy. Yeah, drop this guy. That's crazy. Oh no,
Can
sorry,
Schismatic
any
Young.
of you
I'm
ortho,
guys
sorry for
bro.
name?
saying that.
You
Can you
wanna
guys? Any
you
of
come
you
up? You can
guys
come up here and
name?
talk if you want to. You call me a schismatic ortho, bro, but I'm not really sure what makes me that.
Right.
Type stuff.
Can
It's
any of you
only
guys
internet
name the
people.
first?
So
Can any of you
go
guys
ahead.
name the first Orthodox Christian to step foot on the North American continent?
It was the
Saint
Saint
Herman.
guy
Herman.
from
Nope.
It was the guy who landed
Hey, Leif
on Plymouth
Erikson.
Rock.
Yes, Leif
It's the guy.
Erikson.
It's yeah. No, you're not
Yeah.
gonna say Leak Ferris. Are you gonna say Leak
It is.
Ferris?
It is. It is Leif Erikson.
Yeah, it's Leak
Yes.
Ferris.
Wait, what?
What do you say about the people who don't think he was Orthodox? Like
He
how
is
what?
Orthodox. I mean, just historically, that was after the baptism of the Nords.
Mm. So it wasn't Papists who got to him first.
No, no, it was when the Nords were still in communion with Russia.
So why do they portray them in movies as being baptized by Catholics?
Because it was the Catholic Church.
Okay, yeah, right, yes,
Because it
but
was before. It was pre-schism.
it was pre-schism. Okay,
Confusion said Christopher Columbus, bro. It's crazy. Wasn't he like Protestant? He was a Puritan, right? Or was he Catholic? I can't remember.
who?
Christopher Columbus.
He was half Spanish, half Jew.
Wait,
Did you just
who?
say the J word? I'm now triggered.
No, you can say that. It's
He
fine. It just depends
was.
on what you say.
Christopher Columbus was.
Oh, I didn't know
What's
that.
up? What's up, Yeep?
Yo,
What's going on?
Yeet.
so why do you think Roman Catholicism is wrong?
I think it's false because they profess false doctrines like the filioque, as well as denying the essence energy distinction.
How is the filioque wrong? Isn't that when the Father and the Son intercede? Like, no, the Spirit intercedes from the Father and the Son.
No,
Intercedes?
No, the filioque is the dogma that the Father and the Son caused the Holy Spirit to exist.
Oh, like, yeah. Oh, like comes forth from.
Yes, in your guys'
Well,
view, that's a hypostatic cause.
hypostatically. Yeah.
Oh, wait. So, what do you think? Like, so you think it's just it comes from the Father?
Yes, that's what the original
Why?
Nicene. That's what the initial. Because that's first off, that's what the original Niceno-Constantinopolitan Creed said. It said the Holy Spirit, the Lord and Giver of life, who proceeds from the Father. It did not say on the Son.
But Jesus said, "I will send a Comforter," and
but
that Comforter is the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, that's an economic procession. We don't deny that the Son sends the Spirit into creation. But he did not. He did not participate in the cause of the eternal Spirit.
But it doesn't proceed from.
In terms of
Like,
hypostatic cause, no,
So you think that's a wrong doctrine?
that's heretical. Yeah, very.
What's another wrong doctrine you have?
The fact that you guys deny the essence energy distinction.
Also,
Okay.
papal supremacy.
Yeah,
Rated
papal
grace.
supremacy as well. Yeah,
You have a lot of pissed off Latins in your comments, by the way.
that's fine. They'll be all right. They can come up here if they want to talk.
Good. They could stay mad.
And how was that fun?
What?
The
Which one?
papacy.
The papacy? Because it wasn't exercised in the way that Vatican I proclaims it in the first 1,000 years of Christianity. That's why.
It was.
Can you show me that?
I could. So what's the Pope's role before the Vatican One?
To be the Bishop of Rome.
Not to have like authority, like lead councils and.
They were first among equals, and by the way, the Pope wasn't present at a lot of the first 7 councils. So how could they have been the leader of the? How could they have been dogmatically required for a council to take place? They weren't at Constantinople I, man. They weren't there. There was no Roman legates there, actually. Is it then therefore not true until Rome stepped in, or
I mean,
did the Holy Spirit participate at Constantinople I?
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even prior to Rome saying it's okay?
Yeah.
So then why do I need the Pope?
You're probably right. I ain't gonna lie. You got a point. But
That's the big gist of it, man.
what's one more you got? What's another thing that you
The Immaculate Conception.
The Immaculate
The what?
Conception. That's more of a smaller one, but that is something that is professed. I would more go along the route of created grace. So believing that the grace that you receive from God is created, I think that's crazy.
Wait, so Catholics believe it's created?
Yeah.
And you guys don't?
The grace of God that you receive is created. It's not uncreated in your guys' view.
Yes. You can kind of blend that. I'm not going to deviate here, but I hope you understand, just as a note, if you are a Catholic,
I gotta grab some water.
you are not allowed to believe. Okay, let me ask you this first. Do you believe that the angel of the Lord is Christ pre-incarnate?
Wait, repeat that question because I got a phone call.
That's fine. Like the angel of the Lord, do you believe it's Christ's pre-incarnation?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're Catholic, you don't believe that, bro. You believe
Wait,
it's
so the
a
angel.
you believe it's you believe it's a agent representing Christ, but it's
I
agency,
mean,
but no, it's
it
not.
could
It's
be
not
interpreted.
Christ.
It could be interpreted as an agent. It could be interpreted as the Holy Spirit, Christ. It could be. It's not really relevant.
No, well, I would say it is because it goes into the whole ideal of created grace. So, for example, on Mount Tabor, right? When Christ reveals his glory to the disciples, to the apostles, you have Moses and Elijah. Do you believe the glory that Christ was showing? Was that created or uncreated?
I think it was created.
Christ's glory was created.
To people, yeah.
No, him was his Christ.
His
Was his
glory, no.
glory? Was his glory created?
No, his glory is not created, but the glory
It
that
will.
you know
So
what I'm
there's two
saying.
glories.
So you're saying like a glory
Okay,
of Christ.
yes, the glory of Christ that was on Mount Tabor, was that created or uncreated?
I would say uncreated.
Well, you can't hold to that if you're Catholic because you believe it created
I
grace.
mean, it depends what type of like. What do you mean? Like it depends what like type of create. Like I mean, what type of glory it is. It's like it could either be like
Christ's glory, the same glory that he says in John 17, he speaks about having it before with the Father before the world was. Is that glory
no,
created?
that glory is not created, but the glory that he
Okay,
gives
that
to
same.
Christ.
So did he have two different glories
No, but
that
So,
he
the
so,
glory
switches
that he
in and
so
out
gives.
of?
we actually do have this distinction in Orthodoxy. It
No,
goes
but
it goes from ousia to dynamis to energeia to ergon.
yeah, but the glory that
Hold on, let me explain this to you before you just go yeah, because like I understand where you're coming from as far as saying that there is a reflection of this in creation, right?
Mhm.
That's what you're saying, but the grace itself is uncreated.
itself by
Glory,
itself.
the glory is uncreated, right?
Yeah.
Right. So the ousia, the essence of God,
Mhm.
is eternal, exists outside of time and space,
Yep.
and then that ousia has a power,
Yeah.
right? And then that power is actualized through the persons, by the persons, and that is the energeia. This is all Greek terminology, just so you know, because Latin doesn't have all of these terms laid out. And then the ergon is the created effect that the uncreated energy produces.
Yeah.
Jeez, like you're one step closer to being Orthodox because you understand that
Yeah, but
the energies themselves are uncreated.
well, I think the grace that is revealed, like when John 17:22, I think it said the glory I'll give to the people, my followers, right? I think that's created. Like the glory that he gives to people is created.
Yeah, well, there's a created aspect in creatures where they partake in it, right?
Mm.
but the glory itself is uncreated.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Orthodox understanding. So find an Orthodox parish and start attending divine liturgy. GG's.
But how about like I don't understand theosis. How about that? Like I don't. That's I think in Eastern Orthodox or Orthodox.
You're Roman Catholic, right?
Yeah.
You know how you guys like confess divinization?
Yeah, but yeah, I read some quotes of the Orthodox Church where it said that Saint Maximus, he said something that will become God, just like how Christ was God.
I mean,
Ignatius said that.
Ignatius said
Ignatius
that
said
too. God became man, so man could become like.
Of Antioch or of Loyola?
Yeah. Saint
Of
Ignatius of
Antioch?
Antioch. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wait, what did he say?
Saint Irenaeus says
God
this as
became
well,
man so that
and
man may become God.
yeah, Saint Ignatius, Saint Irenaeus, and Saint Athanasius of Alexandria
And what do
say
you mean
this.
by becoming God?
Not by
Participating in
nature,
divine
but not by
energies.
nature, but by participation, by adoption.
So do you believe it's like,
What Peter says in what Second Peter, I believe.
Yeah, we will
Not
become
partaking in the
partakers.
divine
Yeah,
nature.
Second Peter 1:4. We will become partakers of the divine nature.
I mean, what do you mean by partakers? Because you can't like that doesn't really make sense in my
We don't
opinion.
say
Well,
it's the essence. That's why we
that's
say
the
the nature
yeah
distinction.
that's the delineation between essence and nature there.
I mean, okay, do you mean like it's like a
What a thing is and how a thing exists, there's a distinction between that and what we can participate and have knowledge of.
oh wait. So do you mean like if there's an ocean, right, and then the sun reflects the ocean, it's getting the reflection of the sun. The sun is God, right? But the ocean is the soul of humans. Is that what you mean? Like when you're on Earth, like you don't have the reflection of the sun, but once you go to heaven, you have the reflection of the sun, which represents the essence of God and the nature of God, reflecting back at us. Or is that
I don't
what
know
you
if
mean?
we say the essence, but I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not following the analogy. Can you try to
Yeah,
like
I think
restate that again?
it's like okay, you have a sun, right, which is God, the nature of God, right, and then the ocean is our soul, right, and then like when we're on Earth, we don't have the sun. We don't have the sun like reflecting His light on us. But then after it, when we go to heaven, in the Orthodox perspective, is like that light of the sun reflects to the ocean.
Well, think of it this way: like that light of the sun, right? It still brings light and heats the ocean, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's us while we're on Earth, right? That's the process of theosis that we are partaking in that.
Wait, so you believe that when the sun is shining on the earth, it's like being on Earth?
I don't know. You use that analogy. Initiated that
I'm just
analogy.
trying to. This is a really
Nah,
weird
because
analogy.
I said you're getting the sunlight after when you go to heaven. That's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, after
Are you
I'm not
not
familiar with this analogy.
are you not getting the sunlight while you're still on Earth?
Not because in Orthodox is theosis, right? You become divinized, right?
You understand this process
It's a
in
process.
a sense
It's not
start
ever
on it. Yeah,
completed.
right. You
Yeah,
understand
there's an infinity. So like even theosis, even the divine energies, there's a triadic nature to how the divine energies operate. So there is an infinitude that is proper to God, like the essence itself, where there is an infinitude that created beings will never reach to.
All right. So you believe that we'll become God after like in heaven?
No, not God Himself, not by nature. Like this is where, but we will participate. Saint Paul even writes that glory unto
What
glory.
do you mean by participate?
Will we do? Will we
it's a
participate in the divine?
real reality that we experience.
Yeah, will we not participate in the divine life
Like we'll be omnipresent and omnipotent, or what?
through participation? Like you believe that the saints can hear our
Oh yeah,
prayers,
yeah,
right?
you're right, yeah.
Even the saints experience some of this on earth via, like, for example, clairvoyance, wonder
Yeah.
working. There's a pre-reality, a pre-existence that is on earth that we participate in God through
And
attending
when
His liturgies, through the
and
Eucharist, through the
even
sacraments.
yeah, and even when Saint Gregory Palamas writes that we will become uncreated, it's because we will be in alignment with the logi, like that divine thought will of God and who we were and who we
But you
are.
said we'll become uncreated.
Yeah, because those logi, the foreknowledge of God, is uncreated.
Wait, so we have foreknowledge of God.
No. God's foreknowledge, bro.
So we will have God's foreknowledge.
No. That's not what
No,
I'm
he's just
saying.
saying
That we will,
we'll be in
our
line with
being,
it.
our being itself will be in alignment with that foreknowledge, and in that sense, we will be uncreated because that foreknowledge is uncreated,
So we have the knowledge of God.
not in his
Not the
fullness.
yeah, not us being the source or partaking in the source of uncreated knowledge. No, he's saying
What do you mean by
our
foreknowledge?
news. He's saying our news will be in alignment with the divine logi in that sense. And so we can, in a notion, become uncreated, but not the saying that we're going to be definitively the source of uncreated knowledge. That is only appropriate to God. No,
That we will exist in accordance with the foreknowledge that God had, which is uncreated.
So we're gonna have the knowledge of God.
it depends on what you mean by
Where,
that.
where are you getting that from? What
Okay.
I
So
just said.
we're gonna be all knowing, right?
We can participate in God's omniscience, and if He grants that to us by our grace, then to an extent,
Are we gonna be
not in the same sense. This is where I said it's triadic, right?
yeah.
Like there's an infinitude that is due to the divine essence itself.
What do you mean by there's an infinitude that's the divine essence though?
Unending.
God is ineffable, right? He is beyond any of our comprehension, beyond the angels' comprehension. The whatness of God is completely unattainable.
Yeah.
Entirely.
So when I said are we gonna be all knowing if we go to heaven?
We can participate
According
in
to you.
the uncreated knowledge, but we won't be the source of that uncreated knowledge. The only way we participate in it is in the divine energies. That's theosis. And if God grants us this clairvoyance or this
I
form
mean,
of
let me give you
omnipotence,
let me give you a scriptural like reference to it. Like in Revelation, when Saint John can perceive all of creation worshiping God and crying out to Him, right?
No, I'm not talking about hearing prayers like us staying
No,
strong.
it's beyond that though. Let's really what's that verse, Bryce? Do you want to pull it up real quick?
Which one? Like, what does it say?
In Revelation, when Saint John's talking about being aware of all of creation.
No, I know we're gonna hear.
Revelation 4, I think.
I know the saints are gonna hear prayers. I understand that. I'm saying,
But it's
but
beyond
so
just the
yeah.
prayers though. He had a form of not a perfect omniscience, but what was granted to him, he was capable of comprehending or apprehending, I should
so
say.
whatever God grants to us, we're gonna get it right in heaven.
Yeah.
But what if He doesn't grant it to us? Are we still gonna get it while in heaven?
If he doesn't grant it to us, then
There's
we'll
a,
have
there's an
something
inf-
else. We
there
don't
is an
know.
inf- you're treating it like there is this finish line, but there is an infinitude. There is no finish line to infinity.
Okay, so would God have to give this to us, right? The
Yeah.
knowledge. Okay. That's okay. My bad. I keep getting a phone call. My bad.
Confusion actually just gave me a very interesting piece of information. So I was talking with him in chat. He actually says that the Jesuits affirmed uncreated grace.
The Jesuits do.
Because remember, Jesuits are very serious about like deep personal prayer with God. That's kind of like their big thing.
Right.
Pretty sure everyone does. I don't know, man. I mean, it seems like every single theologian that professes against like the essence energies distinction would be problematic. Because when you think about it, right, like if you hold at least to the type of distinctions that a Thomist would, for example, regarding that, right, if it would be identical to the essence for these energies to indwell human beings, you'd have to say that the essence of God is indwelling these human beings. So it's like what you said. Because they don't have that distinction. There is no distinction that allows you to basically not participate in the direct divine essence.
My feeling about Jesuits.
I can't read that. What does it say?
It says, hold on, just give me a big screen.
I don't care about this particular psyop.
They are a psyop. They're their own problem.
You could boost it. Wouldn't hurt.
The priest
Might
who,
get some goobers, but it wouldn't hurt.
The priest who professed a That he had the chronovisor, the time traveling device.
Yeah, the
Uh,
chronovisor, bro.
it's a dude. It's a real thing that was professed at least. The device probably
I
isn't
know.
real, but he was a
I know.
Wait,
Jesuit. He
really?
was a Jesuit. Yeah.
There was a Jesuit that professed he had a what?
Time
The
machine.
chronovisor.
The
Yeah.
A
chronovisor.
chronovisor.
He witnessed the
Really?
crucifixion, dude.
So in this chronovisor, he went back and witnessed the crucifixion.
Bryce, he had the divine spark by Sophia.
Exactly.
Oh, jeez. Did they and they put this in a document and recorded it and released it?
I mean, people. He wrote it down.
And they let his
Uh,
authorities like let him put this out?
I don't really know if it was authority based. I think he was just writing personal memoirs.
Well, either way, it's an obvious
But
sign of prelest and
apparently the Pope was
like,
saying like, "Give me this device. Like, I want to see what you made." And he always kept going, "I forgot it at my other house." So he claimed that he developed
what
it. So
book was this
it's
under?
not a time traveling device. It's more like he said that he developed a device that's capable of basically looking into a scope, being able to look into any point in history by reversing the like electrons in the atmosphere or something. So it wasn't a time traveling device. It was more like a binoculars that could see into the past.
It
Like
was my
VR.
picture that I'm sharing right now.
Me mysteriously pondering my orb. I'm searching Google for wizard memes. My orb, Google.
Eldon, I agree with you in reunification as long as the Vatican recants on them all, on the numerous councils, and most of all, reneges on the filioque.
Yeah,
Be
and
perfect.
reinstate Photius.
Maybe, just maybe, that what Bartholomew is doing is deep undercover activity to make him renege and recant on everything.
Summa Theologiae 3b. It talks about uncreated grace. I gotta see this.
He's already outlived what, three popes?
For so
He's like, God, send me another one. This one's not working.
maybe that's what he's been doing. He's been offering him like chances every single time. Then they go.
Did you see that Jim Bob got baptized today?
Yeah, man, I
That's
got
awesome, dude.
commented.
For
Yeah,
real, bro,
look
it's
at that.
crazy.
And Bob is officially Orthodox.
That's super
Got to
Wait,
get
cool.
him back on TikTok.
I got another question.
Yeah.
Can I
Yeah.
ask you? Yeah. So when Saint Maximus, the confessor says that, or other ones say that, like God, right? When he said Christ became man, so that man might become God, right? He said something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So would we be Christ in that sense?
I mean, we are Christs by grace, dude. Like little Christs. It's like a whole
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
It's not
Okay.
by nature.
Not by nature.
So like the Trinity, we're not gonna be anything of
No.
nothing to do with.
No.
Okay. That's okay. That's I could understand that. Yes.
Yeah, we do have the authority to decide what a Christian is and what a Christian isn't because Christianity is a historical religion and they have parameters for what makes a Christian. That's a stupid point. No True Scotsman fallacy came out when? When was this? Like, was that post Enlightenment?
I think so.
Yeah, really, I can't say the R word.
I'm a head out though. Yeah. So have a
Yeah,
good
God
one.
bless, bro.
Thank you.
Persistence.
I can't find the specific part of Summa. Ayo. Maybe I'm not good at reading it. If it's 3, it would be tertia pars, right? Would it be tertia pars?
User, I'd be so glad if you would be able to substantiate the claim that you're making right now. If you would come up
Oh,
uh,
Jesuit to Summa
or next to
Theologiae?
me, please.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we have the correct interpretation because we're the ones that canonize the Bible. Matter of fact, I find this so interesting and hilarious. I was talking about this in Jimbo Observer. To any and every priest, to anyone who wasn't Orthodox for that matter, but obviously heretics for the most part. Same difference. But anytime they contest, what the Bible is, what it teaches, or it doesn't teach the Trinity, right? Well, that's interesting because the Nicene-Constantinople Creed, informed all the priests had to dogmatically believe this. No, yes. So if that's the case, and they all held to this, this also informed the canonization of the Bible. Your Bible was canonized by a bunch of Trinity worshipers, men who prayed to Mary.
Based Mary praying.
So the people who canonize your Bible, we have two councils, two ecumenical councils before the Bible gets canonized. They're all a bunch of Trinity worshiping, Mary praying men.
Who,
So
um, random hypothetical because we were talking about different like philosophical stances in Roman Catholicism earlier. If you had to choose one of them to be, what would it be?
might be Scotist.
Wait, what?
If you so basically, if the only philosophical choices you had were the different schools of Roman Catholicism and philosophy,
Scotist.
I'd probably be a Scotus too.
I hate this question.
Fair enough.
Without
That's like
the
hundreds
without
of
the
years before the
without
Bible was
yeah
written.
without the psyop baggage, I would either be a Scotist or a Jesuit.
I mean, realistically, I'd probably be a Thomist and just convert back to solipsism.
Nice.
Interesting
Oh,
point.
cool. He did. Confusion just sent me the entire freaking Sacra Theologiae Summa,
Corpus.
which is the Jesuit Summa Theologica.
So they have a different
What?
wait, they have a different summa than really?
Yeah, they have different
That's
beliefs
interesting.
than Thomists, bro. They're a lot more like mystic, a
Dog.
lot more mystic.
Yeah.
They believe
What
in
the Jesuits
uncreated
are?
grace and stuff.
Okay,
They're a
yeah.
lot more. They're a lot more fruity too.
Nah. I've heard
Oh
about that.
no.
No, he's serious. I've heard about that.
Would you
With
recommend the
Essence
book A
Energy's
Dialogue
distinction.
Between the Orthodox and the Barlamite? Absolutely. That's an amazing work. Really, really
Yeah,
well
Orthodox
that's
written.
Zen.
yeah, Alex. That's incredible. I can send. I think we have it in the server already, right?
That's actually yes, that's in the PDF bank. So that work, by the way, Alex, in case you didn't know this, is the first discourse that oh gosh, it's the first
Well,
discourse
it's
that you
not.
ever
It's
had
not. It's not
against
an actual.
Akindinos.
But it's not an actual discourse. It's written in the Socratic method.
Yes, but it's specifically against Akindinos.
Yep.
That's the one regarding Akindinos, right? About like
Garino
the student.
Lagrange mentions uncreated grace on his treatise on grace. God's benevolence towards us is uncreated. I understand that, like, obviously they believe that, like, so that the problem is that, at least I don't know, like I said, if Jesuits do or not. I don't know their position very well. But they don't normally affirm a position that has a distinction between dunamis and energeia, as well as a proper distinction between essence and energy. And so when they talk about the actual participation in this grace, the thing that they're participating in is not uncreated. Right? That's the issue. That's where we separate. Because we believe that, like, we're actually noetically participating in the uncreated energy. Right? Some people are not, because they're incapable of handling it. But that's what the hesychasts are doing. The hesychasts are participating with the uncreated light. I wouldn't think that any Roman Catholic would affirm that you can participate in the uncreated light itself and witness it noetically.
What would you say the distinction
I'm pretty sure
between
the beatific
dunamis?
vision for them, in order to witness the uncreated, has to be after you're dead. Indwelling of the spirit of the whole triune God.
Quick question: what would you say the distinction between dunamis and dunamis and energeia would be?
The power to do something or the ability to do something versus
Yeah,
the
the
action of it
actual
happening.
legislation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Energy type, energy token.
okay, yeah. So that's it. That itself is the distinction.
Yes. They don't really have that distinction. So that's why they don't believe. That's why they believe that the acts of God, in terms of like human beings receiving them, is entirely created. They don't have that distinction.
Right.
The distinction isn't real enough among the essence and energies, says John Romanides.
Whoa, whoa, that's crazy. The distinction isn't. Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
That's
It's
what's
a
got to
up?
be. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Chris is LARPing as John Romanides. I wonder if he actually knows what he's gonna do.
I am John Romanides.
Okay.
We do not slander John Romanides over here.
Yeah, where's John at before this starts?
Me. I'm John
You're
Romanides.
gonna you're gonna respect Father John Romanides, bro.
Sarah from Rose doesn't like John Romanides.
That's fair.
In what regard?
He doesn't like him.
Was his evil stuff?
Father Seraphim Rose didn't like his.
No, it was his model VED.
Yeah.
You said it was his model of essence energies.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seraphim Rose didn't like it very well. Didn't really like it very much.
Imagine talking to Sarah from
Bryce.
Rose about essence energy distinction. That would
I know,
have
right?
Bryce.
Dude, I was in a VC
Wow.
last night. And dude, one of the new mods, I won't name who, Bryce. There's only I think one or two of them. Has a whole like I don't even know what size, but a massive tote of recordings that his dad has from conversations with Father Seraphim Rose from Platina.
no kidding.
And he can't for I mean a few reasons cannot release them publicly, but is donating donating them back to the monastery. They are on cassette tape.
Wow.
Dude, protect him with his life.
Yeah. No, Jordan was there. Like, yeah, Mexodox was there, and he showed us the whole stash, and it is wild.
That's insane, man.
So,
I said
There's not very
all
much
I said
footage
was
of him at all.
Well, it's not footage; it's audio recordings.
I know, but there's like only like 2 lectures of Seraphim Rose that are recorded.
Yeah.
The one that he did at the college campus.
Yep. Which is essentially what's it called? God's revelation to the human heart.
Yeah, that was what it was called. God's revelation to the human heart. Yeah.
Bryce, what's the cause?
What's
Need to hear
what
it.
is a cause?
Mm-hmm.
The act of bringing something into being, or the act of, I mean, without trying to use the word cause, I guess in that case, right? The act of bringing something into being, I think. Yeah, I guess I could put it like
How
that.
would you formulate that analytically?
Analytically, what do you mean?
Like with letters and numbers and symbols.
Like if P then Q.
Like P then Q. So like X then Y, P then Q.
No idea. I don't do formal logic.
GGs.
I'm just being 100% honest. I don't do formal logic.
You like my hat?
What the heck is that?
It's a
Box.
The box.
Shoebox.
Oh, it's a box. Okay.
It's Shohei Otani.
Bryce is running from the pineapple on pizza. argument.
Notorious gambler.
Dude, I already showed you a reductio to your worldview, Christian Will. I told you said that anything that has a 4.0 pH balance belongs on pizza. I told you, okay, then what's the problem with putting lead on pizza with that logic? And you said it can't be eaten.
Lead?
Yeah. So his argument was
You have
that
somebody named Sergey.
there's the reason why you put
Right.
pineapple on pizza, and the reason why you should, is because it has a 4.0 pH balance.
What if we put you on pizza?
Lead definitely does have an acidity, Christian Will. That is not true. They're like everything in some way, shape, or form has an acidity or a base to it.
Hmm.
That's not true.
Someone named Sergey is in your request. He must have come out.
Everything is either a base or acidic in some way.
Based? Is this based?
Hold on, I'm not tripping.
Sergey, hello.
Hello?
What's up, Sergey?
Yeah, I could be open.
Hey, I've been watching you for a little while. I kind of like what you guys are doing and everything. I do fall in that red category though. Just wanted to kind of see what your opinion is and how you stand.
Mm-hmm.
By birth, because I'm Armenian and I was baptized to Armenian Apostolic Church. I'm Oriental Orthodox, I guess. That'd be the closest. What is your opinion on like how Oriental Orthodox and Eastern Orthodox take it from there.
Like, what's your opinion on the difference? If that's what you said, then I would have to say that the fact that they denied Chalcedon is problematic, and that makes them schismatic from that.
Right. So, what was the original church?
The original church.
The Roman Catholic Church.
It used to be the same way, like what the Oriental Orthodox is right now. Everybody
they used to be in communion with that church, yes.
And you're saying like, there's no way that that prior to the Chalcedon it was right. Like,
The church fathers were not the church fathers were not Miaphysites, no.
So they were not Miaphysites. They went from being Miaphysites into continuous.
The church fathers were never Miaphysites.
Were never okay. So how does that? Was it just a time when they decided to talk about it, or were they practicing it this way and then they?
Chalcedon arose because of the fact that there was a man named Eutyches and a man named Nestorius at those times. I'm sure you know who Nestorius is, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say he's kind of like your guys' main enemy, which makes sense. He's our enemy too, but the whole point of like Saint Cyril's polemic was against his understanding of diophysitism, because Cyril does admit, and other historians will admit, that he was a diophysite in a sense of strict diophysitism is what it was called, which is Nestorianism, where you believe that there's two persons in Christ, right? We affirm diophysitism in terms of it's called loose diophysitism, which is what it was called in academia. That's not the official terminology for it, but where it was a singular person in two natures. And so we believe that all of the church fathers taught that. We don't believe that there was one composite nature in Christ. And and Chalcedon is strictly denied by the people that came before or during the time of Chalcedon, like Dioscorus and Severus and those guys. Severus, I think, came a little bit after. But those guys professed that even Pope St. Leo's understanding of diophysitism was incorrect. They believed that the Tome of Leo was a Nestorian document, even though that we can go through the Tome of Leo and show that he did not support Nestorian Christology. And so the Chalcedon arose because of the fact that there were people that were saying Christ has two natures. And then there were some people saying, no, he doesn't. Cyril taught that he had one nature. And then there were people saying, no, he taught he had two natures. And then they started saying, no, everybody in the past taught two natures. Nope, everybody in the past taught one nature. And then council.
Okay, so the human nature and no, that's not nature, right?
So we believe that Christ exists as one person in two natures. So he exists.
Okay, yeah.
He is a divine person, naturally with a divine nature, and possesses human nature as he took on humanity. Why is he playing Alec Benjamin, bro? Who the hell listens to that guy? Sorry.
Wait, Alter Ego by Tim Impala. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right. What were we
So,
saying?
do you know where it was? I'm sorry to interrupt. Where it was in Roman Catholic teachings that claiming that Rome has supremacy based on the doubly apostolic nature of Rome through Peter and Paul is condemned. That's Vatican I, isn't it? Vatican I states that it's based solely on Peter.
Talking to me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Maybe even Chris could help me out on this.
Yeah, session 6 of Vatican I, yeah.
I don't read ecclesiology. GG's.
I've
only read.
I don't know why that's a flex.
No, it is a flex because the papacy's boring. Like, I tried to get into it, bro. I can't.
But what you're telling me is you concede. Okay, nice.
I've only read.
Bro.
I've only read Francisco Suarez's.
I love
against
ecclesiology.
Anglicanism.
Yeah.
That's the only ecclesiology I've read.
Yeah. I don't think. I don't even think. How many ecumenical councils do you guys have, by the way?
21.
I know you do, but Sergey, how many
They
you
have,
guys
they
have?
have
Is
3.
it
I
is it
think
3?
three. Yeah,
You
I
guys
think
didn't
three.
have. You guys didn't have any after Ephesus, right?
Are you sure it's session 6?
Was
Pretty
it
sure.
was it
They
Ephesus
had
or
they had
was
they had
it,
Ephesus too.
no? Ephesus was second, wasn't it?
Ephesus is the third.
No,
Constantinople one would
yeah,
be the
no, but
second.
you have Ephesus too. You have 2 Ephesuses, but Pope Leo denied Ephesus too because it was monophysite.
Oh.
Yeah. I have another thing that kind of came up in my mind right now. So when we're talking like Trinity and this obviously like when it gets to Jesus, we have 2 natures in one person,
Mm-hmm.
and with that, well, let's just say the divine would be sort of like the thought, and then it comes to be a word of God, as opposed to just a thought. So like now that Jesus is born to humanity, kind of the thought becomes a word of God, and like for us, right? Like we're gonna accept it easily, right? Like just like one thing that like I was talking to a friend of mine. I'm not an apologist or anything, but like I'm trying to help this guy. He's pretty close to like starting to doubt Islam. So when we were going and I call it a standard way to kind of like or like the Orthodox way.
Mm-hmm.
So we were going 2 natures of Jesus, here or there, and then once I started talking about, I'm like, okay, so you're talking to someone who is actually a member of Oriental Orthodox Church, and once I started talking about like this united nature, like in whatever sense it is, like as soon as I got that one out of the way, he started to be more susceptible to the message, like a little bit more, like he's just eased out a little bit. And I don't know if it's good reason, but at least I think it gets like other people of other faiths a bit less confused when it's kind of like it's
Do, do,
metaphysicism.
yeah, but if you do, would you say that even if something is less complicated, does that make it true?
No, I wouldn't say that. I
Because I
wouldn't
mean,
necessarily.
if that was the case, Islam would be true, right?
Oh yeah, it's like way less complicated.
Way less complicated in terms of their God, right? Very, very simple. So, like in terms of like the Trinity, right? One of the reasons why we affirm that Christ is in 2 natures is actually because of the fact that the fathers taught that, and this is prior to Ephesus, that the way that the Trinity works is the opposite of the way Christ works, right? So obviously we believe there's 3 persons in 1 nature in the Trinity, and then in Christ there's 1 person in 2 natures, right? Saint Gregory Nazianzen, specifically in his letter to Clodonius, he says the Savior is made of elements which are distinct from one another, nor the timeless by which is subject to time. Yet he is not 2 persons, God forbid. For both natures are one by the combination, the deity being made man, and the manhood deified, or however one should express it. And I say different elements because it is the reverse of what is the case for the Trinity. For there we acknowledge different persons so as to not confound the persons, but not different elements, for there are 3 or 1 in the same Godhead. So when you see it in that case, he's saying that it's reverse. We don't combine the persons into 1 person in the Trinity, therefore we don't combine the 2 natures into 1 nature in the person of Christ, right? Which is what metaphysitism does. And so there's also one that's said as well by St. Justin Martyr in his Exposition on the Faith, chapter 17. He says, when you hear then opposite expressions about the Son, divide what is said accordingly between the natures. If there is something great and divine, attribute it to the divine nature, but if there is something small and human, reckon it as part of the human nature. For so you will avoid the disharmony among the attributes. Right, so there's they're professing this thing over time of saying that Christ is 1 person, 1 hypostasis. I know that obviously there's a little bit of confusion on what hypostasis meant at the time of Chalcedon.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look back to the way that they're professing it, they're making a delineation between the person they're referencing versus the nature that's possessed by that person. And so that's the reason why we believe that Chalcedon was like that. I mean, we also hold the position that Saint Cyril himself was a complete Diophysite, and that like when he's referencing Miaphysis, because he does say that, right? There's actually a couple different ways that can be seen. When it says one incarnate nature of God the Word, right? There's a different. It's actually denoting two natures by saying that, because it's one incarnate nature, right? One nature that incarnates as flesh.
Mm-hmm.
That delineates the nature that he is incarnating into, not the fact that he himself entirely is one nature. That's how we see that, and that's how Chalcedon professed that when it says that Christ is one nature, right? Or sorry, there is one nature of the incarnate Logos, right?
One nature assumed, not saying that the person predicating one nature to the person.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not saying it's a small thing, but I'm just wondering, like, from your, like, you're way more experienced and knowledgeable. Like, your opinion, other than this aspect of Oriental Orthodoxy, is there anything else that divides between the two
That verse.
branches?
Yeah, you guys have a different view of theosis than we do. You guys don't really believe in like the deification of man in the sense of the uncreated, like we do. And you also do not affirm the position of the essence energies distinction the way that we profess it either. So you guys also have a different view on that. What?
What's the last one?
Essence energies distinction. You guys have a different view on the essence and energies distinction than we do. You guys believe that it's
Nice
that
counsel.
it's a scotistic formal distinction rather than a distinction that's prior to the intellect entirely, which is which is dogmatically denied in orthodoxy at the Third Paulinite Synod.
I see. So we're like this is these other ones are the same between Orthodox and, let's say, Roman Catholic.
We have different differences, right? So think of it like this: in terms of like reconciliation, if something like that were to happen, those are the three main things that would have to be figured out. Those three topics that we just talked about, and you guys would have to accept Chalcedon, Constantinople II, Constantinople III, Nicaea II, as well as Constantinople IV with St. Photius, and as well as Constantinople V with the four Paulinite synods in the 1300s. And so you guys have 9 councils that you would have to understand, versus like with us, if we wanted to reconcile with the Roman Catholic Church, we would have to figure out basically over 21 councils, well, I mean, we accept 7 prior to that, but there is a lot more councils in Roman Catholicism that would have to be talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So versus OO and EO, it's a lot closer.
Well, you guys have like Synod of Jerusalem and other stuff too, Black Renee.
Yeah, but most of the time, like, I mean, I think that even you would say this, that the Synod of Jerusalem is not problematic for RC. I don't know, have you read it?
I think the stuff on predestination is problematic for us.
In terms of all the views, because I mean, like, about to say, like, does that affect like the Molinist perspective?
Not at all.
Molinists still believe in unconditional election.
So from
That's
like
that's dogmatic in Roman Catholicism, unconditional.
Yes, we
When was that
affirm
dogmatized?
that second. Well, we ratified Second Orange to be dogmatic.
Second Orange promotes unconditional election.
Yeah,
I haven't read Second Orange, that's why I was asking.
yeah. Because it condemns semi-Pelagianism and it ratifies St. Augustine's views of predestination.
Isn't that Orange 1? Or is Orange?
No, it's Second Orange.
Okay.
I thought Orange Orange condemned semi-Pelagianism.
No.
Because I remember we were having
that
outs
condemned,
with
that condemned Pelagianism.
okay.
Orange 1. That was the one that I read. I haven't read Orange 2.
Orange 2 is so based.
But yeah, so there's a lot more things that would have to be talked about, as well as I don't really know if OOs, if you guys have any other like synods past Ephesus. I mean, I know that you guys don't have any more ecumenical councils, but you guys also still have many different synods. I think I don't know if you guys have had any synods past Ephesus. Just gatherings in general where you guys like define canons in any way.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think of like when you meet someone that is like, let's say, Oriental Orthodox, baptized to that church, always went to church, prays to God and everything, like just a normal Christian from that, let's say, denomination. Do you like feel like a little pity for this person? Like, I wish you were like in the
Of
right
course.
church.
Yeah.
So
We're
do you think?
saddened for people not being a part of the body at this point in time.
And do you believe the person that goes there is not saved?
We don't know.
That's a good answer.
Profess the
We have
state
no
of
idea.
men's souls. We are not in the judgment seat of Christ.
That's a good answer.
But because of the fact that we believe we have the assurance of grace in our church, we're saddened by those who do not participate in it.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. And then for being baptized in, let's say, like Armenian church and coming to Eastern Orthodox on like
It'll
in
be up
terms
to kind of be for your
Yep,
bishop
that
to
would be up,
decide
yeah, that would be up for
best
your
way to
bishop.
receive you.
of whether I can receive communion or not.
Well, I mean, like, so
A
you become,
lot of the times, a lot of the times, especially like with the Greek parishes, you'll be received through confession.
which is another way that you can be received as well.
So you're doing the confession and then you're doing the.
Well, it's not like the sacrament of confession; it's confession of faith. Renouncing Dioscorus, renouncing the anathemas of the Oriental Communion.
I see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and renouncing your anathemas on like Leo, for example.
Yeah, Leo. Yep.
That's pretty much how you would come in most Greek parishes, like Schoolboy said, because the Greek parishes tend to accept their baptism and chrismation.
They baptized me.
Yeah, but you weren't Oriental.
True, very true.
It's more like for Oriental Orthodox. They're the ones that
Yeah,
actually
okay, yeah.
they normally have like the least amount of necessity and requirements.
They baptized me. They baptized me
Right.
coming from Roman Catholicism, and I'm very grateful for that.
Exactly.
What were you before you got baptized at the church?
I was Roman.
Protestant.
I was Roman Catholic.
I was evangelical.
Well, that's another interesting thing. Like for like evangelicals, like I even had this relationship with I was engaged with a girl that was evangelical, and it just like when I was coming to our priest, talking about this, he was like, basically this is a sect, and they're not Christians. They say the name of Jesus, but this is really not the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, like really hard to like reconcile. Like, no way, that's just a very, very harsh thing. But like,
I mean that's not a disparate view from what I would hold when Protestants or evangelicals ask me like, oh, so do you think I'm Christian? I'll straight up tell them like nominally, like in name you are, but like to be Christian is to be united to the body of Christ.
Why did y'all murder 30,000 Coptics? When did we do that? That's,
Like even you,
did I-
Sergey,
did
like
I,
I
did I
would,
miss my history lesson?
He's talking about after Chalcedon and whenever Alexandria was mostly died for the.
So we murdered all of them? I don't understand.
Not all of them, but there was a big
A
basically war. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there's a guy in a car, dude. Oh man. Sorry, I'm playing
For
before.
reference, yeah, you're all of your Protestantism, from especially evangelical Protestantism, just Protestant America. Look to Schofield, read on him, and
Chris, why do you have to be such an edgelord and just like do things like put a profile picture like that and change it to John Romanides?
how come they'll
I'm John Romanides.
like what's Bryce, what's your opinion on the tongues? Evangelicals are praying. Like you'd know a little about it.
About what again? Sorry.
Praying tongues.
Oh, I mean, I used to be a part of a church that thought they were doing that. I mean, it's just not true. It's just pre-list, man. It's simply just somebody who's confused spiritually, and they're being deceived.
Okay. Is that dark spirits?
Yeah, I think so for sure. I was overtaken by whatever that was when I was evangelical. I would say it definitely is.
There's a method to it. It's very much spiritism or like a mediumistic practice.
Because it's invoking it's invoking a psychological state prior They mentally psyop you into being ready to do such a thing prior to it. It's not like somebody just says, everybody close your eyes and start speaking in tongues. Nobody does it if you do that. They have to like
Yeah, they
psychologically
call it
build you up and do all this crazy stuff. And
they literally called it
master.
yeah, they called it cultivating an environment, or
Yeah,
especially if
yeah,
you're in a lot of
I agree with
yeah,
that.
especially if you've ever went to, like, let's say, more black evangelical Protestant church where they talk about like
I went with
atmosphere or
my
whatever.
fiance. I went to they were like half Russian, half Armenian church that was in Russia, and
Right.
they had this guy like the screaming piano. He's like, Jesus is king. Like the words are okay, but like, and then he starts like touching like points in the face. I'm like, that's pretty like, and then this person falls down.
you're
Like,
like
if
poking their
I'm
forehead.
believing, like, yeah, put like tapping on the forehead somewhere. I'm like, that's very like neurological.
Yeah,
Like,
you should see some of the early 2000s and like 90s 2000s like mega church.
Yo,
I
um
Zay,
saw, I saw
Zay,
that. I
does
saw
this
that.
give you nightmares? Spirit of God,
oh dude,
Spirit
no,
of God.
seriously, during like during
Yeah.
the whole like Satan's satanic panic thing, like the ends of it, like going to like 2007s and that era. My father, he had us watch this one movie like about Aleister Crowley and all this other stuff, and all your music is satanic. He had to like take us to these prayer sessions where they'd come and like try to get the demons out of you. Really weird stuff, you know, really crazy stuff.
You okay, sweetheart?
Hey, bro, y'all got to learn about the lore
Yeah,
of,
I'm good,
Zay.
Bryce.
You look like you were hungover there.
Really whacked out
Oh,
stuff.
okay. I was just making sure you were good.
Bro, Zay,
Going on.
yo, what was the thing that got you like out of that hard like once save always save like John 10:30 type thing or
John
John 10
10:30
type
just
thing?
says Father and I are one.
No, I meant
I mean,
like
he was
John
just asking
10
like
is
in
what I meant.
general, just
Yeah.
in general, the whole position in general. I mean, you get exposed to like actual Christianity or like historic Christianity and see what they taught. It's like, oh, they didn't believe this.
I got out of it because I basically thought to myself, like, once saved, always saved. And then the mentality of basically me thinking to myself, okay, so if I profess that Jesus is Lord and I genuinely think it for a couple months and then I completely fall away from the faith and I turn into like a serial schmurderer, am I still good to go? Or
Nah, bro, you just never had faith in the first place, bro.
yeah, but that's arbitrary, bro. Because I think I did. Who are you to say I didn't? I mean, it's a dumbass
Yeah, it would
position.
just it would just be revealed from the divine spark.
The divine spark, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You should boost your lie and do it.
Huh?
Do it.
Boost a lie?
Boost the lie.
Mm.
Do it.
Sure, why not?
That'll be you.
Did you
How
guys,
you feel about the other ego song though? It was a nice
Zay
one.
and Schoolboy, did you guys get to see the intro thing?
No, I didn't get to see it.
I wasn't here early enough for it.
Hold on, let me.
I saw the video that you posted though. I do like it.
How I had it set up here.
I like it a lot.
Now let me check it out.
Here we go. Watch this. I'll show you real quick.
What you should do with it, besides just like starting soon, you should put an actual like set time whenever you post it.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
That's probably a good idea. Anybody who's in here right now, I'm not actually going away. I just wanted to show them this real quick. Oh, I can't change it during multi-guest? That's crazy.
Oh, that's weird.
Is it in the Discord?
Huh?
Is it in the disco?
I can put it in the thing. Actually, let me just do this real quick. I'll just boom, boom. I'll bring you guys back up. But this is what I had for everybody who wasn't here for it. This is the new intro thing in case you guys see it. I'm not going anywhere, I promise. All right. Yeah. Super dope. You said it's too big?
It's a little too big for the phone screen.
Okay, I'll have to fix that then.
Yo, what's up, Mello?
Also, I had
I'm
to.
almost done.
I'm gonna have to fix. It says your live is not eligible for recommendation, and let me try to restrict that real quick.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Well, it's because I played that thing, and live does not contain the content mentioned. Let me submit the appeal. Boom. So it
I
doesn't.
think that's why it was.
I'm gonna see if I can still promote though.
I mean, no, the soundtrack was just everything in the right place.
Yeah, which I mean, like I don't understand why that would be problematic.
It's good. Uh, it's a good song. I like it. They want you to be edgy and put something like a yay on there.
I know, right?
Do it. I'm joking.
God forbid.
Zay, do you understand the things I say on Twitter?
Soundtrack
Bro,
was
you're
weird, bro. It's
see, I
Radiohead,
need to
man.
put
What
your
the-
notifications on for Twitter.
I don't,
I wanna-
dude. I don't even have the Twitter app on my phone. I literally have to log in through browser to use it.
That's good. Keep it that way. If you see the arguments that go on Twitter,
Oh,
like
they're so bad. They're like, dude, like when I was the last time I actually had the Twitter app on my phone was when I was an Inquirer.
oh, dude, you wouldn't believe what's going on now. What's that one priest? I like him personally. Look at his name, but his whole thing about like he was basically telling there was a situation where one person he knows, or Catholic community knows, his priest wouldn't let him be baptized, so he went to this other priest and said, "Well, I want to be baptized," but the whole issue was came where it's like, well, people are like, "Well, no, he needs to listen to the priest and just be chrismated instead." You have another side of people are like, "No, let him be baptized," and like no, he needs to listen to his priest. So it's a mess, dude. It's a mess.
PSA is incompatible with the essence energies distinction, Chris.
Well, pure PSA.
Yeah, pure PSA.
It depends in which sense we're talking about it.
Yeah,
because
geothermal
PSA alone is
ultraviolet.
insufficient.
Yeah, if it's talking, if when you say PSA, Chris, you're talking about the Father damning the Son. That's completely incompatible with the ED.
It's incompatible with any Trinitarian theology.
I don't think the Father damns the Son per se, but I
No,
do
that's what they
think
state, though.
no. I do think though that the Father pours out wrath on the Son.
So a divine person pours out a wrath on another divine person.
Do you know who? Shit. What's his name on Twitter? I
You
need
see
to
a blue
find it.
profile. See a blue profile
Hold on.
because I know you're talking about. It's gonna be that blue Orthodox ethos, not Orthodox ethos, but Orthodox uh something has a blue profile. And there's a whole fight going on right
Orthodox,
now.
Orthodox ensign or something.
Yes. You know what exactly
Yo,
what I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
Orthodox
He's
Ensign's
a
based,
Latinizer.
bro.
No, he's not.
That dude's crazy.
about.
Hold
Absolute
on, let me
moron.
He's
log in
not.
on Twitter.
Orthodox ensign.
You know who Orthodox Ensign is, Bryce J?
I've seen him. Yeah.
Yeah, he has the
Whatever.
blue
No,
profile picture and you keep trying to
no,
push.
he is
That's
not.
garbage.
He's
Yeah,
not
he's
based.
a subverter.
Yeah.
He's a subverter.
Yep.
And he's
Nah, I
been
think
called
he's
out
based.
multiple
He's the
times, by the way.
same. He's in the same crew as the usual suspects.
Comment in the chat if you think
Notice,
Orthodox
notice,
Ensign is
notice,
based.
notice how all the Orthodox on the panel are saying no. Orthodox ensign is lame, and the one Roman Catholic on the panel is like, no, he's cool.
He's based. So wait, so do you guys think the Father poured out the wrath on the Son qua humanity?
No, I'd say that would
I
have
just
to
don't
be. It
like
would
the
have
way
to be
you
a
said
triadic.
qua.
It would have to be a triadic operation, or else it's not possible.
That question presupposes some Nestorianism. It's
And
very
not
weird.
even that, it splits the
How
Trinity.
could he how could well, number one that also how could the Father pour out a wrath on something on you say the person has the divine nature. How could he pour it out on the nature but also not be pouring it out on the person?
Well, he is pouring it on the person qua that nature.
Qua.
What's wrong with saying qua?
So is the divine
You
nature
tell me, bro.
okay. Is the divine nature not unified
Say it
with
again.
the human nature? Is the divine nature not unified with the human nature?
But I wouldn't say all things that are proper to humanity are proper to divinity. Like for instance, death is not proper to divinity. You can't say the divine nature died. You know that would be foreign.
We say the divine person died and
Yeah,
just a
qua
theanthropic
his
act.
humanity.
Okay, sure, but also, wouldn't you be saying
So
that the
so
divine
he
person?
he
Well,
he
hold on, let
felt
me
the
say this.
divine wrath on his
Let me say
humanity.
hold on, let me say this. Let me say this. Would so because the Father is pouring out this wrath on the Son, on the who is the divine person, wouldn't the Son also be pouring out wrath on his own human nature and the
Okay,
Holy
hold on.
Spirit?
Let me hold on. I have some quotes.
Oh, you're gonna quote
You heard
mine?
my wait here.
It's a theolo- It was a
How am I going
Wait,
to
hear my
quote
theological.
question.
mine?
Just
I'm gonna
It was a
just say what the
theological.
fathers say.
It was a theological question, man.
No, because I'm
right,
gonna
I'm saying,
say what the
can you answer the
fathers
question?
say.
Right, but no, I'm saying, can you answer the just
I'm
engage with
gonna
me?
answer with a quote. Am I not allowed to do that?
Well, yeah, quotes are subject to interpretation, so answering with a quote wouldn't be answering the question.
It's gonna be a pretty clear quote.
Well, that's your presupposition.
Sounds
That's
like
your
a Protestant.
assumption.
Sounds
Yeah,
like a Protestant.
that's your assumption. That's an
Well, we
assumption you're
can.
making. Quotes require interpreters and interpretation. There's
The
no
scripture's
theory
clear.
neutral quote. Scripture's clear, brother.
Daddy.
Hey Zay,
Did it? Yes.
Blessed.
can you say ask a question again?
It's a good question. I never say ax. You'll
W's for
never
say.
catch me. You'll never
W's
catch
in the
me.
chat.
Mm,
W's in the chat.
You'll never catch me, bro.
I'm just making
Damn
sure.
near, listen, damn near went to a British school all my life. British English school.
The way Zay just
Yo,
said the
Mexadox.
words.
Mexadox just sent me a 13 premise thing against PSA.
Oh no.
Base.
Shit, this thing is
Fire.
huge. This is a big freaking syllogism.
Yo, why are the Catholics just chilling in our general?
Because
Hold
we're
on.
alive right now.
Give me a minute.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, before I pull up this quote,
Oh, I mean,
is
Are you gonna
is John
wait,
Romanides based?
hold on, Chris. I'm sorry, Bryce, not to interrupt you. He said no, not before you pull up the quote, because I did
No,
want
I
you to
just
address the
asked is
question.
John Romanides based.
Bro, I'm just
in
saying,
some
hold
things,
on.
yeah. In some things.
All right,
All
so
right.
Jay,
There's my
I
answer.
sent a
Now I'll say
screenshot.
it.
Hold on, I sent a screenshot of Talon spreading more lies and more forgeries about Jay converting to to Catholicism, and he rejoined the server just to say you guys are a bunch of lying dogs.
Wait, so
Okay.
okay, whatever. I don't even know what's going on.
Wait, saying that he's not Orthodox.
No, the Ortho Seraphim
Okay.
J, like the Brit with the lisp.
Right.
That is just like a rabid anti-papist, and yeah.
Papism is
There
based.
was a rumor going around that apparently he's becoming Catholic because he made one singular post saying maybe I was wrong all along.
He's
And then it was a
literally
picture.
debating people on papacy right now.
Yeah, I know, because he's freaking trolling. He does it all the time.
Okay.
People can't see.
Christ redeemed us, that is, by the merit of his most worthy. Huh?
Who said the quote?
This is from a scholastic named Blessed Denis the Carthusian from his commentary on Galatians. This is what I'm.
I thought you said you
positing.
were going to quote a father.
Yeah, but I'm gonna do that next.
You're gonna put it in the well or something like that. Interpret our church father. We're gonna interpret our church fathers through some scholastic. We don't know,
Well,
and then come to some
I'm
like
just telling
theory-laden
you what my
presupposition
position is.
conclusion.
Like, I don't know. Like, everything has to be a debate.
I'm
Like,
just
I'm just
reading,
gonna
brother.
tell you what I believe.
I'm just reading, brother. I'm just reading. That's what I do. I
Go
just
ahead.
read.
Just go ahead, Chris.
Man, Christ redeemed us, that is, by the merit of his most worthy passion. He freed us from the curse of the law, that is, from the yoke, condemnation, and punishment which the law inflicted on transgressors. He freed us, that is, the Jews, from the obligation or duty of keeping the law, and consequently from the consequent curse. For he became a curse for us, that is, for our salvation. He suffered the curse of men, because they also imputed to him offenses, and inflicted on him punishment due to a sinner, which he himself deemed to suffer for us. As the psalmist testifies, what I have not taken, that was required of me. And you know my reproach and my confusion. Hence also Isaiah says, he was reckoned among the transgressors. For it is written, cursed is everyone who hung on a tree. But this did not hold true in the case of Christ. How then does the apostle apply this authority of Christ to accept, insofar as Christ, with the other cursed and wicked crucified ones, was reckoned among the reprobate, indeed, was made like them in suffering? Wherefore he says, through the prophet, I was counted with those who go down into the pit. Likewise, I am a worm, and no man a reproach of men, despised by the people. Therefore Christ redeemed us Jews from the curse of the law, so that the blessing of Abraham might come upon the Gentiles who were not under the law, that is, the promise of grace of Abraham might be spread abroad in Christ Jesus, that is, by the power and merit of Christ, or through Christ as mediator. Blessed is the Carthusian, and omnis beati poly apostolis comitaria. That's how I view the atonement.
Anybody else catch that well? My soteriology's cooked.
It just sounds like you do like the Muslim thing by throwing in the Latin at the end. Yeah, okay, bro.
No, so in what way would you say that the Father unleashes wrath on the Son? What does that mean? What is it? How does that act work?
How does that act work?
Yeah, it's an act, right?
It's a triadic act.
It
from your position.
Well, would you say that Christ is his own God? Because that's just Calvinism.
Huh?
Would you say Christ is his own God, like within relation to Christ? Would you say the divine nature is the God of the human nature? Because that's what Calvinists say.
In relation to Christ, if we're talking about like possessing the divine nature.
No. Okay, so like, would you say that the Father is the God of the Son, insofar as his incarnation?
Yeah.
Okay, would you say the Son is his own God, insofar as his incarnation?
Yeah, he would still be this. No, I'd say that the Father is the one who submits all flesh.
Okay. There you go. See, now we're getting somewhere. Hold on, my mom's calling me. Just give me 1 second.
Tell her I said hi.
Hello. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I've been like inquiring Orthodoxy for like about a month now.
What was I saying?
What were you saying? IDK, go ahead.
I've been inquiring Orthodoxy for like about a month now. I'm about to go to like a divine liturgy for the 5th time on tomorrow on Sunday. But I just have like one question.
Mm-hmm.
In the hymn of Agathis, I think it calls Mary salvation. Why is that? Like, I don't really understand that.
Flowery language.
Like, what is that?
Our salvation, our salvation came through her. I mean, even the angelic salutation, like Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb. For you have borne the Savior of our souls. We understand that our salvation came to us through Mary.
We're not saying that she's really the one who's performing salvation. When we say that, we're saying that she is the one who provided us our salvation as a human.
And through her prayers, through her piety.
Okay.
It's not divinizing her, brother. It's flower.
That's all I was wondering.
Yeah.
Because
does your church hold a parochlesis service?
I don't know.
Well, you said like the akathist, right? And like there's a little bit of a delineation between the parochlesis and the akathist of Theotokos. But is it a Greek parish?
Yeah, I go to a Greek Orthodox church.
It's probably the parochlesis service. It's a beautiful service. Is that one that's held like midweek?
I haven't been to any like midweek services.
Like on Wednesday.
Oh, did you see Need God's video, and that's why you're asking?
Yeah, that's exactly why.
Yes. Yeah, this guy, he's an absolute clown, dude. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know
he's a subverter on purpose. By the way, he's perfectly aware of at least somewhat our position and what we state regarding Mary. He obviously goes overboard to disencourage catechumens or people who are interested, and that's like the gripe.
Yeah, he's a very false like person. Like
Yeah,
he's very fake.
and he refuses to. There's only one person he engaged with, but he barely engaged with Val. Other one.
Yeah, I watched the debate between him and Val. He didn't really let Val speak at
Say,
all.
did you see when Jub called?
No, I didn't get to see that. I wish. Send it to me.
Oh, it's so good. I'll have to find it. Bryce, you got to talk to Joel.
Yeah, have you guys ever tried blackberry Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, it's actually fire.
That's all
Yo,
I was
you guys
wondering.
are absolute weirdos.
Yo, hold on. This is my first time
Hold
trying.
on, Chris. Your mom stocks blackberry Dr. Pepper?
No, my grandpap actually bought this.
Oh man.
He was wanting to make a your mama joke.
Bro. Those are some fighting words.
It's really good, dude.
This tastes like some black shit, bro.
Dude, it is. It's like grape soda mixed with battery acid, and it's delicious.
Yo, Zay, do you drink this?
Nah, man, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Stick to us. Sparkling fruit juices, water, tea, and coffee guy.
I have like 2 sodas a week, and I'll tell you what, the blackberry Dr. Pepper, really good. The strawberries and cream one, absolute trash.
What?
Strawberries and cream.
That's my
Strawberry
favorite.
and cream is
But
fire.
with Dr. Pepper, it's weird though.
No.
I didn't know Dr. Pepper has so many flavors. I'll be honest.
I like the cream soda. I like the strawberry cream.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I like cream soda. I'm a big fan of cream soda, but most of all, I don't know if they still sell it. Pepsi did a nitro. They had this nitro thing where it looked like a pint of Guinness almost. Dude, oh my goodness. that thing
Well,
was
you know why they
amazing.
call it nitro, right?
It's nitrogen.
Because they have a nitrogen
instead of carbon dioxide, it's not carbonated, but it's nitrogenated.
Oh yeah, back to PSA.
Fire, dude.
We're talking about PSA. Oh yeah. I just forgot. What the heck was I saying?
You were saying it's the son that God of the
let me
sun.
ask Bryce one simple question because Mello just asked it. Did you watch the Dr. Sijuwade and William Albrecht?
Yeah, I watched it. I do appreciate that Dr. Sijuwade dumbed down terms for William Albrecht, so
it was pretty sweet.
Good for the audience.
Sijuwade lost all his
understand
words.
it.
He lost all what?
Sijuwade lost all his words. Once he started denying Lateran 4, he just lost all his order. Yeah.
Yeah, the son is not the God of himself, the Father.
Yeah, because that's what Calvinists say, right?
They have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, they're cooked. But so if the Father is the God of the Son, then the appropriation of the act is specifically to the Father, not to negate the fact that the predestination of the act is common to the 3 persons, but the appropriation is specifically to the Father, insofar as the Father is the God of the Son and God of all flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we're saying that he's damning the Son, right, is he damning the person?
I wouldn't say he's damning the Son. No Catholic would say that.
Okay, so then he's unleashing wrath on the Son, right? Is he unleashing
Yeah,
wrath?
but
Is he unleashing wrath through the Son in the Spirit?
Huh?
Is he unleashing wrath on the Son in the Spirit?
In the Spirit, what is that? Like, what do you mean by
the
that?
triadic operation is from the Father
Yeah,
to the Son.
I know, but like, what does it mean to unleash wrath on the Son in the Spirit? Like, what do you mean by this?
I'm trying to figure out how this act is possible.
Say,
is the same power from the Father pouring out wrath on the Son?
I would say that the Spirit is unleashing wrath on the Son. Like, that's what
is the Father doing something that the Son's not?
It's Thomas. Thomas of Jesus talks about this in his Sufferings of Our Lord chapter. Yeah, he's an Augustinian.
Oh.
Sounds like two dynamis. It sounds like two powers, or two dynamis, because you have one acting, or potentially acting, or I guess the energy with with the actualization of the energy itself, and then you have the Son not doing this act as well, who is also of the same nature, and gets his existence or sources his dynamis and energy in the Father.
Did you not just hear me about the appropriation of the act?
Okay, well, repeat in regards to this matter.
So I said that
you might have to disambiguate.
The predestination of this act does involve the Son, right? But there's an appropriative act towards the Father, insofar as the Father has a notion of being the God of all flesh, right? So there's a notion appropriated to the Father, but the predestination of this act and this one simple act is from the triad.
But the actualization of the act in space and time,
Yeah,
what would you predicate that to? All three persons, but only the
I just
Father.
said the appropriation, so the predicate would be to the Father, but it's really predestined by all three persons.
Are you? What's the distinction between the predestination and the
Well,
actualization
hold
of
hold
the
on.
act
Wait,
in space and time?
are all three persons participating in the act of unleashing wrath equally at the same time?
Yeah, that's what I was going to get
What do you
to.
mean? No, I'm saying like the predestinate. So the predestinatory act is common to three persons, right? So meaning that like through the one simple act, it is really from Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, just as like Saint Ambrose talks about in on the Holy Spirit, that the Son sends Himself, insofar as the sending is truly of the three persons, but an appropriation to specific persons, right? He talks about that in I think chapter 1. But there's an appropriation of what the act is according to, right? Based off of like a notion. So like the actualization would be would be appropriated to the thing, but the predestination of the act, like again, is common to the three persons. So because of that, it's initialized by all the three persons, but then you have an appropriation.
Yeah, but when we actually get to, for example, the point in time where the thing is to be sent into creation, is that a different act from the predestination prior?
That's what I was getting to.
No, it's the
That's why I asked
same
for the
act, but you have
distinction.
you have an appropriation.
So the Father unleashing wrath on the Son is triadic then?
That's the conclusion.
Depends what you mean by that.
If there's no
If it's
distinction
predestined
between
by all three,
the predestined act versus the actual the instantiation of that thing in time, then it has to be triadic.
Do you think the Son felt wrath?
Like in terms of what?
Like on the cross when he bore the sins of humanity, right?
Yeah, I don't believe that
Do
the
you
Father. I don't believe that the Father was the one who was instantiating that wrath, like
What-
himself. It would therefore just be the entire wrath of God in its entirety, right? But
Wait,
it's
with-
not. But
do
it's
you
not.
think-
But it's not the.
Do you
It's
think
not.
there's an appropriation to the Father?
Huh?
Do you think there's an appropriation to the Father, insofar as the Father is God of all flesh?
In terms of like the judgment, like releasing wrath
No,
via judgment.
bro. No.
or the general statement
So
that the
you know,
Father, the person of the Father,
you know how we just
is
said
the God of all
before that the
flesh.
Father. Do you know how we just said before that the Father, excuse me, is the God of the Son incarnate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, if he's the God of the Son, and God is sending the wrath, then it is God the Father who is pouring out the wrath on the Son in an appropriatory sense.
Are we conflating
Through the
economia and
person
theology proper?
through the person in the Spirit, right? Or through the Son in the Spirit, right?
Oh my! You did not just listen to what I said.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're saying
so
you're
when
giving
we
it proper to the Father, but the
when
two
we
persons are still
appropriate
participating.
no. When we appropriate acts, right? So just like we appropriate the Son sending the Spirit in what is it, John, was it John 20 that he breathes on the Spirit, or he breathes on the apostles to forgive sins?
Yeah.
That's appropriated to the Son, but it is common to the three persons insofar as the sending, as Saint Ambrose says in chapter 1 on the Holy Spirit.
So then so you don't think that it's an act occurring in theology proper, rather it's just an economia. Like in terms of like so the eternal act is just predestined to happen triadically, right?
Yes, but it's an economic thing. Yes.
But you're saying in space and time.
I would say so. You guys are separated then from the Calvinists.
Well, Calvin uses kind of vague language. The Reformed Scholastics seem orthodox.
The reason why Calvin believes that the Father damns the Son is because of the fact that
All right, so I'll be right back. I guess there's like a whole VC dedicated to talking shit about me right now, and I just want to go settle this in Discord.
What?
What?
In Discord?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, man. Oh wow, there really is just a bunch of people talking shit about him in Discord. Look at that. All right. Well, that's fine.
Yo, can you invite me back to your server, bro?
Yeah, I'll invite you back. You're fine.
Yeah, I haven't done anything bad in like 2 months.
No, I'll be 100% real. You've been super chill for the past like month and a half that you've been coming up here, so
Yeah.
you can do that. What's your name?
Bryce J, do you think Chris.Bell_412?
We don't deny PSA in its entirety. We just deny the Calvinist understanding of PSA. It's denied it.
Well, I wouldn't even say it's the entire Calvinist. It's just Calvin, because the Reformed Scholastics articulate it like how the Catholic Scholastics do.
Yeah, because Calvin came to the conclusion that the Father is capable of damning the Son because all three persons have their own instantiations of aseity. Right, so therefore, so the Father is capable of then doing an action.
Yeah, that's why he says that. That's why he says the Son is his own God.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
Yeah, so that's why, like, when I asked you, like, do you believe that the Father like pours wrath on the Son or damns the Son? I was asking that in a theology proper context. If you're saying that it's just an act that's proper to
no, it's not ad intro. No,
okay.
It's not ad intro. No.
Okay. Yeah, so Calvin believes that. That's why I was asking if you did that. If that's what you.
I wouldn't say he says that.
Well, he doesn't say it's ad intro, but it reduces to ad intro.
He thinks that the Son. He thinks that the Son actually like had sin really imputed to him, insofar as like it's not like he was just counted among the wicked, as Scripture says. He thinks Christ actually became wicked on the cross.
Yeah.
That's
because of the fact that the aseity is
separated. No, I've
read
Calvin's Institutes. That's what he says. We don't believe that.
No, I mean, like,
but
he believes in, like,
neither do the Reformed Scholastics.
A lot of people that came after him definitely didn't follow in his footsteps for sure, which is kind of funny considering that they're like the establishers of that mindset, but then they deviate from him. It's kind of like Platonism versus like Plotinus's understanding of Neoplatonism, and Neoplatonism ends up somehow being a lot better than the original Platonism.
Well, there's different schools of Neoplatonism. I mean, like,
I think
the Church Fathers.
Plotinus has the best understanding, is what I'm saying. That.
Well, even like for instance, like the Church Fathers, whenever they're writing like on their commentaries on the Dionysian corpus, they seem to follow the Athenian views of Neoplatonism. So like Porphyry, who else? I can't remember the other guys' names, but yeah, like those writers, because there's Alexandrian Neoplatonists, which is like more follow strictly to Plotinus, but then you have like Athenians who take principles from the Alexandrians and then do their own stuff.
Well, obviously that Saint Dionysius had a lot of interest in Platonism. I mean, like, you could see, like, if you're
you have a different historical account to Dionysius than I do.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you don't believe that the divine names are written?
No, I think it was a pseudonym.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I read a book that changed my whole perspective on that. But
the Scriptorium Presses.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see that yeah. Dude, amazing argument. You see how skeptical what they do, they're not even really making
of like his life and
arguments.
like where he was established. That like the argument pretty much
he would have been educated.
The argument that this guy pretty much makes, Chris, is that because of the fact that it appears like he's using Neoplatonic language, it's actually just evidence that he was one of the first people to ever purport Neoplatonic language, and that Plotinus actually utilized it. That's pretty much like the argument that was used for that.
Yeah, but the thing is, like,
because he had a really high interest in Platonism, and he taught Platonic philosophy before he was a Christian, right?
Well,
so he was super immersed in it.
Well, Pseudo Dionysius, though, like, he doesn't take directly from Plotinus's Neoplatonism.
I know, that's the argument that people would make, of course, is that the reason why it's pseudo is because he seems to have the same understanding of creation versus uncreation, or uncreate versus create, the distinction between those things, as well as the simplicity in God is like a Neoplatonic understanding as well. I'm saying that like the way that the book professes it, it's basically saying that historically speaking, it's entirely plausible that Dionysius's divine names could have been actually an inspiration for Plotinus in that sense, and that Plotinus actually utilized Dionysius because of the way that he wrote. Like, do you believe that like the letter to Timothy is real?
With Dionysius's letter to Timothy?
Yeah. Or do you believe that like all of Dionysius'
I
stuff
haven't
is?
read it. I've only read On Divine Names.
He's refuting Platon. He's actually refuting Platonism. He was talking about how he just recently got out of dealing with the Platonistic philosophy and how he's recently converted to Christianity, and he was reaching out to Timothy, the disciple of Paul, and saying like, "Yo, these Greeks are freaking crazy, bro." Like literally.
Well, I also think that there's two people under that pseudonym though, because there's certain inconsistencies with like his writings. So I think
yeah, I mean I would say that just shows a graduation of doctrines though in terms of like his intelligence. I mean, it's kind of like Augustine, right? With the way that Augustine professes his works versus if you look at like City of God versus like De Trinitate, you can see like very clearly that he reneges on some things sometimes, but that doesn't mean that like it would be two people, right?
I mean, yeah. Have you ever heard like the theory that Saint Isaac the Syrian is actually like two Saint Isaac the Syrians?
I have heard that.
I've heard of that.
I've heard of that.
Yeah,
because of his
well, it's because of the universalism stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's not only that. It's also the conflation that the Monophysites make, because there were multiple Saint Isaac. Well, there were multiple Isaacs.
That's the theory I heard, that there are multiple Isaacs,
Isaac
and
the
that they
Syrian
kind of
is a very
conflated a lot
common
of them.
name.
Yeah. But
I
yeah.
think the only things that we attribute to Saint Isaac the Syrian are the two sets of homilies, right?
John would know better than I would.
I know that Saint Isaac the Syrian is the one who came up with the entire death to the world thing, which is one of my
Yes, that's
favorite.
where we
Which is one of
see
my favorite
punks and
reads.
monks.
Punks and monks, yeah.
Yeah.
Saint Isaac the Syrian.
There are a lot of conflations because of Monophysites and their goofy little secrecy, and it's also the reason why we have incomplete lives of people like Saint Isaac the Syrian. So a lot of works get jumbled. There's a good book on it, which is called The Rise of Monophysitism. And it was how it pretty much came to be and what was lost, as well as what was uncovered in terms of how they went about their weird kind of secrecy, also how they lost their iconographic tradition. But I think there's a couple more works other than just those two from St. Isaac the Syrian. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Bryce, can you invite this Mel Skate person in the comments up as a guest?
Mel Skate? No, dude, that's that person that thinks that there's freaking orbs in her house, man.
Oh, wait, what?
What's the issue with that?
Yeah,
that's that one girl that came up here one time saying that her house is haunted.
Yeah, but
Did she ever get a priest to come there?
Apparently not, because she's still saying the exact same stuff she said a while ago. She's the orb girl, bro. You don't remember that?
Jesus was not born.
Now says account not found. So I think she might have blocked me.
He blocked you.
I have a question, Chris, because like I didn't actually have like too much of a problem with how you proclaimed the PSA thing when you actually showed the distinction between like the economy. But I do have a question, right? So does Christ ransom us from death because death is a problem for us, or because God is a problem that afflicts us?
No, it's death's a problem for us.
Okay, that's not actually bad.
Yeah, wait. So what you said? Because
that's
God
a big
is a problem
thing.
for us.
Yeah, because the way that Calvin basically professes the penal substitutionary atonement is that God comes down to earth to ransom us from God's wrath directly.
Okay. Now that makes
God
sense.
is
Yes,
the
I
thing
dealt
that's
with that.
going to
Well, no.
cause...
So wrath is the result of sin, right? And that's why
it's the reasoning though behind why God came down.
Well, yeah, like I've talked to Wagner about this.
There is God's wrath
in God, right? God is not.
It's not an actual attribute.
Yeah, but rather, it's a
Anthropomorphic
well, it's kind of like
language.
creation, right?
Yes.
It's an
It's a
anthropomorphic
notion.
explanation of his justice, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
from our I guess terms, our experience.
yeah. So,
Does his wrath need to
yeah.
be satisfied, Chris?
Does his wrath need to be satisfied?
Yeah, in order like to
Because
like
of the result of sin that he took upon. Yeah.
okay, it's the father that's being satisfied economically.
Yeah, I mean, because like you have to think about this. Like Christ is taking on all of humanity's sin, right, as the Lamb, and because of that, what's the result? Wrath. So he bore all of humanity's wrath.
Yeah.
So that eternal life and mercy.
Man, that sounds crazy.
Sounds. But he did it. Hold on. But he did it because death is an affliction. He didn't do it because of God's wrath to pour out, right? He did it to help us, not to stop us from him or stop him from us.
Yeah, it's so that mercy. So it's because of listen. So because of Christ's act, we can be imputed. Right. This kind of sounds Protestant, but I don't take their view of alien imputation. So because of Christ's merits on the cross, we can be imputed with his righteousness so that he may infuse it with us, right? That's the distinction between us and Protestants. So Christ can make us truly him, right? Like theosis,
Yeah, but it was for us because of what we're dealing with, not with
Yeah.
because the dad's or not just because the father's angry.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a big distinction. Right, because obviously that, like there are people that affirm the latter.
I don't even know why you tried to baptize the kind of penis substitutionary language in the first place.
Well, he was just
Well,
explaining.
they stole it from us in our scholastics.
He's Catholic, so that's why I was asking him like what he thinks about it. He's
They stole it from Peter Lombard and Anselm.
Why do you have a Father John Romanides profile picture if you're Catholic?
Because I'm John Romanides.
It's no.
Do you have a problem with John Romanides? Like actually?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean,
besides the fact that
I
he's
don't really care to read him. I mean, he like basically makes God composite.
What?
No.
Yeah,
What works have you read of Father John Romanides?
I've only seen quotes. I don't actually care to read about
Okay, so why are you making these claims?
Sure, because like John
If
Romanides, he looks like he has
you've only
aura,
seen
man.
quotes. You've only seen quotes, and you're gonna make claims based on quotes.
Well, I mean, also like I have like read sections from like Seraphim Rose talking about it, and like
So
he's way more.
have you
Wait,
read
listen,
Father John Romanides? No,
He's way more. He's way more authoritative than John Romanides. So
have you read Father John Romanides?
Bro, I just told you I don't care to read him.
Okay, so why are you gonna make claims that he makes God composite?
Because that would like follow from the logical end. It's the slippery slope fallacy. Bro. You know what that? You know what that is?
You read quotes, and you're saying this is
And
what
that
he
would come from the
believes.
logical end. Yes.
You haven't read his works, which can teach completely
I don't
the
care
opposite.
to really read him, dude.
I instigated.
Then why are you gonna? I swear you're gonna give me an aneurysm.
Like why are you taking what I say seriously, bro? I'm obviously
because you're stupid. Like, do yourself like. I'm quite a big fan of Father John. I'm quite a fan of Father John Roman. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have an aneurysm. I hate it when people make these stupid claims about Father John Romanides, who was an incredible theologian. Don't actually read his works.
That's a very niche. Viewpoint in the Eastern Orthodox Church. Most theologians.
What?
You sure?
Yeah.
It's not a niche viewpoint.
Most theologians like condemn like Lasky and Romanides.
Like what? Which one?
Wait, what do they condemn Lasky on? By the way,
where are they?
It's their view of EED, bro. Their views of EED.
Yeah. Where's the condemning at? Like,
where? Yeah.
All right, here, hold on.
Because there's many times where Lasky is recommended to either newly baptized or catechumens. Or
Yeah,
maybe not
yeah,
catechumens,
about to
but
say.
newly baptized.
Yeah,
Newly baptized, I'd say.
Lasky's works are actually recommended for people that believe that they're called to apologetics when they're catechumens.
Yeah.
He's actually believed as introductory theological work.
Orthodox dogmatic theology, yeah.
Yeah, that's Pomazansky.
Lasky
Pomazansky.
also wrote Aristotle East and West, didn't he?
Yes. No, that's
No, that
Dr.
was
David
Bradshaw.
That's David Bradshaw.
Yeah, I'm like,
No,
that's
Bradshaw. That
Bradshaw.
was
That's
Bradshaw.
Bradshaw.
No, that was Bradshaw. You're right. That was Bradshaw.
I'm like,
No,
I
I
was
have a
just looking
couple.
at East and West.
That one is a good book, but I have a lot
Yeah.
of Lasky. I don't remember which ones. I have it in my library.
His filioque text is pretty good.
I grew up Christian, but I've always had problems with believing. If you want to come up, dude, we can host have a chat with you for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm trying to see what Father Stephen De Young says. I know he says something. Hold on.
This is so
Father
stupid.
Stephen DeYoung, I'm pretty sure, is definitely not speaking out against Florovsky.
You mean Lasky?
No, I'm talking
Lasky. Lasky.
Vladimir Lasky.
Oh, okay. Lovsky. Freaking
No, not
Russian.
Lovsky.
Losky.
Yeah.
No, Romanides. No, he talks. No, Stephen De Young talks against Romanides on 2 points, specifically EED and his view of Augustine.
What's wrong with his view of Augustine?
Yeah, I'm curious what he said about Augustine.
Dude, he says that Augustine isn't a saint.
That's not what he said.
No.
Hold on, show me the quote that he says it's
you said he made the claim. You would have to bring the quote of him saying
No, listen, he's saying he's not saying it. I can bring it, but I want
He never rejected Augustine's sainthood. You know, the person who was the most well-read on Saint Augustine was Father John Romanides, because he highly praised Saint Augustine's works.
It was actually the reason why he wrote all the books he wrote, was studying him. And
so how are you going to say he said Saint Augustine wasn't a saint? Are you dumb?
The only thing that he says anywhere remotely close to that is that he says that the church never formally canonized him. That's literally because they didn't.
But I mean, we call him blessed, I guess.
There's no council that dogmatically canonizes.
Pronounces his sainthood.
But if we went by that logic, there's a lot of people that aren't actual saints yet. A lot of
people. Even Father Seraphim Rose refers to Saint Augustine as Blessed Augustine.
Mm-hmm. Also, by the way, Zay, a council that you should read is the Council of Constantinople in 1480.
1480.
It's the council that condemns Florence and canonizes Mark of Ephesus and Gennadios.
Oh, okay. Well,
really good.
A double whammy. That's the Council of Constantinople. Was it 5 or 4?
No, the Council of Constantinople, 1480.
1480.
1480.
Listen, Zay and Bryce, both of you, if you ever want to get me to crash out, you misquote Father John Romanides. That's how you get me to crash out. I'm just putting that out there.
Romanides literally said himself that the most pagan forms of theology is that of Augustine.
I will burn you.
Does this look like a praising the Augustine? Shit, hold on.
Synod of Constantinople, 1484. Is there a book on it, or I can just 1480? Was there also
there's a PDF of the Acts and the canons online. It's actually the formal condemnation of Florence.
Why is there also a synod of did Wikipedia get it wrong? Is it just 1480 and they got it wrong because they're saying 1484?
There's one in
1484. Hey, dummy, where is the saying Saint Augustine isn't a saint?
But you claimed there was he praised Augustine. This doesn't sound like a praising.
Critiquing part of his understanding of essence and energies doesn't mean that he doesn't praise Augustine.
There's a bunch of modern.
I swear, you
where does he praise Augustine?
You dummy! Read what this is saying.
How am I dumb?
Read it out loud. Please read it out loud to us. Read it out loud.
I can't read.
Dude, you're such a freaking clown.
Is there a book on?
He's,
Is there? I see a.
I
Sorry.
can't
it's at the
read.
bottom.
Revelation for Palamas is directly experienced in the divine energies and is opposed to the conceptualization of revelation. The Augustinian view of revelation by created symbols and illumined vision is rejected. For Augustine, the vision of God is an intellectual experience. This is not acceptable to Palamas. The Palamite emphasis was that creatures, including humans and angels, cannot know or comprehend God's essence.
Boom. Duma refuted.
What?
But where does I don't understand like what you're trying to represent. He's literally just saying that Augustine disagrees with Palamas on certain fronts. It's funny too.
How is that refuting me? Gosh.
I'm pretty sure.
I
Actually,
swear, I'm gonna crash out on this guy. This guy's an idiot.
I'm pretty sure I actually have a quote from
Hold
the
on, I can't
ancestral
see
sin.
the full quote. Hold on.
I'm pretty sure I have something.
Bright Shay, can I send this to you?
Yeah, go ahead. He also even said that the understanding of guilt and punishment doctrines that are rejected by Orthodoxy didn't even originate in Augustine. They actually originated in Anselm, and that people misread Augustine. He says that
because he was the most well-read.
Sin. Yeah, he says that in the Ancestral Sin on page 18. He makes that claim that Augustine actually wasn't the one to start those doctrines. It was Anselm.
Because he was the most well-read theologian on St. Augustine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it says on page 30 as well, it says both views here share as the same main premise, the idea that original sin can only mean the guilt of Adam was transmitted to all of mankind. Their cosmological presuppositions do not permit them to seriously consider that perhaps death and corruptibility are not from God. For this precise reason, both factions believe indefensibly that the theme of guilt, supposedly presented so clearly in Romans 5, is not developed in any other place in all of Holy Scriptures and the works of the Fathers until Augustine had to deal with it. This is why the West regarded Augustine as the first to penetrate and deeply comprehend the thought of Paul. It is not so strange, therefore, that some Western theologians allude to the teaching of guilt as a special divine revelation to Paul via Augustine. Literally just saying that they only believe that he had this view because Augustine was the first person to actually proclaim it, to actually deal with it. None of the fathers prior to Augustine wanted to deal with Romans 5 because that shit was scary. He's literally saying Augustine had the gall to actually try to understand original sin, while the original fathers were kind of taken aback by that. It was a little wild topic.
I swear, freaking like room temperature level IQ saying Augustine does not align with Palamas here. Saying, oh, this is a condemnation of Augustine.
Sylv, I'm shining like this because my daughter is asleep over there. My wife's playing Minecraft with a little baby carrier on. And
am I still up there, or is this out?
Yeah, you're still up here. I can hear you.
All right, I can't see myself on the panel. This is weird.
I swear, these Roman Catholics are
this light
room temperature IQ.
I usually have this light on right here.
Room temperature IQ.
But I'm in the dark right now.
You should hear Talon. You should hear Talon in DC in the Discord right now.
What is?
Yo,
this pisses me off.
Can you go on note? Can you go? Hold on, shut up, please. Can you go on note 10 of Wikipedia on John Romanides?
Note 10?
Oh my gosh.
Wikipedia. Note 10, it has a citation, bro. It has the book. It has the book. If you want, you can quote the book.
Yeah, I'm not actually going to read Father John Romanides. I'm going to read a Wikipedia article and then take quotes from that Wikipedia article and random quotes from books that I haven't read and say that I know Father John Romanides condemned Augustine because I didn't actually bother to read his works.
I told you, I don't care to read Romanides, bro. Did you not hear me say that 20 times?
So then you're going to make stupid claims like this. Dude, you have room temperature IQ.
John.
Did you brush your teeth with rocks this morning? Like what happened?
John.
Yes.
The work that he's quoting is Augustine unknowingly rejects the doctrine of the ecumenical councils concerning the Old Testament Lord of Glory.
No, I'm quoting where he says that he's pagan. Or pagan philosophy, rather.
Oh, John, you've told me about that quote. I know what quote he's talking about. Where it says the most pagan form of philosophy is that of Augustine, right? Is that what it says?
Yes.
Yeah. John told me about that quote because I was really confused about that as well.
Because Saint Augustine literally came from paganism. My goodness.
He used to be a
I swear, you guys don't even bother to read.
It's chapter. Hold on. It's chapter 4 called it's patristic and biblical theology. It's in that citation. Hold on.
Is he bringing you the quote? You just told him you know.
If it's from the Sickness of Religion book.
What John just said about him talking about his origins were pagan.
Like the most pagan form of theology was that of Augustine. It's referring to when Augustine was a Manichaean because he was the best at promoting it.
It's the Romans, ancient, medieval, modern.
John Romanides wrote that?
I'm not gonna lie. Imagine having to contend with Augustine on anything, especially Manichaeanism. I've been cooked.
He was a Manichaean. Father John Romanides specifically writes that throughout Augustine's life, there were at least 3 Augustines.
Yes.
In terms of his writing. So when he's referring to Augustine being the most pagan form of theology or philosophy, it's referring to Augustine coming out of Manichaeanism. You doofus.
I guess I also am included in the doofuses right now.
I swear, these like I said, room temperature IQ. You're chewing on rocks. You don't bother to read the works, and then you're like, this one thing said out of the context that it was involved in is it means he thinks Augustine's a pagan. A freaking brain dead, man. I swear. Did you get your freaking degree from the back of a cereal box? What happened?
John's losing
Full
it.
serve
I
coming
swear
out.
on my life.
John is losing it.
His
It
accent's
pisses
coming
me
out
off.
and everything.
This is calm
It
for
pisses
John.
me off, man. It really does.
You sound like Nico from GTA 4.
I've never heard John so passionate in my life.
Me either.
I've never been more pissed off at this. You could freaking try to say
Bryce, I
that
sent
Roman
you the quote
Catholics are
and
stopped clocks
the quote
that
and the
chime
website.
twice. Yeah, that's cool. Freaking, you don't read the works.
Yo,
You're
nice
gonna say
ad-homs, bro.
you're gonna use these arguments, but you don't read the works.
Well, I don't care about John Romanides, bro. I don't.
You're like
I don't
a
care.
stopped clock that times at random
I
intervals.
don't
You're
care,
never
bro.
right. Like what the? Like you're so stupid. I swear.
You're like a
Nice
stop
ad-homs,
clock
bro.
that chimes
Nicely
at random
spaced.
It's not
intervals.
if it's true. Like, what the?
Nice. Did you forget the part when I said I don't really care about John Romanides?
So why are you still harping on it, you moron? What the fuck?
Bro, because
What?
it's funny to see you mad, bro. This is why.
This is the craziest rage bait ever.
John,
I swear.
John's got some heat coming in tonight, dude.
Oh, like that's the whole point of me
I'm
like
so
having this
pissed
profile
off
picture
because
it's funny.
you're so stupid
It's
that you're gonna
funny,
continue
bro.
to try and make these claims, and you're like,
Bro, I
I
don't
can't
care
read in
to
general.
read him, bro.
You idiot.
It's not even my contention with orthodoxy, anyways, bro. So I really don't care.
Bryce, I'm gonna drop. Let me right back up. It's driving me nuts that I can't see myself on panel.
I'm gonna let you go, Chris, so that John can calm down. What's up, Lewis?
I know I've calmed down. I'm pissed off, but I'm calmed down.
A lot of people like to
Yo, what's up?
misrepresent John Romanides, bro. It's so
Before you guys move on, I had a question.
What?
I had a question real quick.
Yeah.
Wait, give me a second.
Really sucked that a bunch of people just like to quote my John Romanides. Just, look what he said about Augustine here. I'm like, yeah, in what historical context is he talking about Augustine? Dang.
Yo,
Look what he said about Augustine in a book that I haven't read.
It's all good.
Yo, Bryce, quick question.
Yeah, someone was just doing that about Ubi, in quotes that Ubi has had about St. Augustine, and they didn't read literally Ubi's own response to the argument that was being made. Someone was essentially quote mining Ubi on Twitter, circulating a video about him, saying that Ubi was calling St. Augustine a lame theologian. And he was like, oh no, Augustine believed that abortion after 40 days, or before 40 days, is only a venial sin. He's like because he believed in delayed ensoulment.
Yeah.
Like, would you classify that as lame?
Don't ask me.
Yeah,
I don't know the context of all that.
That's pretty bad theology.
Yeah. Yeah, I think biblically it's quite well established that life begins at conception. But well, I was going to ask you, Bryce. I don't know if it's secretive, so I'll just be vague with what I'm saying. But do you have a 2v2 debate coming up?
Yeah. It's not secret.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he
Oh,
came
is it
there.
not? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Trinity against Arianism. Yeah.
Yeah, philosophically and historically. Me and John, the dude right here.
When you say
Can I just
historically, yeah. When you say historically, is it biblically as well?
I mean, that would be part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's because Danny told me about it. He was asking me a couple of biblical questions.
Well, in case anybody in chat's curious to know, I don't know if I publicly said anything, but it's not a secret. I just forgot to really say something about it, but you kind of reminded me. Me and John, Doomerdoxy, are going to be doing a 2v2 debate against Danny, the atheist, and another person of his choosing. I still don't really know who that is. He said he still was going to find him. And it's going to be on Arianism versus Nicene Trinitarianism historically and philosophically prior to Nicaea. So
wait, when you say Nicaea, when you say Nicene Trinity, do you mean like make them specify like
well, I mean, he's going to be kind of holding the position that Nicaea was kind of like the actual development of Trinitarian theology, and that prior to that, Arianism was more of the predominant understanding that was true, and it was also more coherent.
Wait, don't you see Arianism really kind of kick its legs off even post Nicaea?
Basically, Danny is going to be debating as a Unitarian Arian, like literally.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Because Danny was asking me some biblical questions, and then he was telling me why, and then I was shocked. But I don't know if I'm just saying. I doubt you need it, but if you do have any biblical questions yourself, like just message me anytime.
I'll probably get with you about the Bible stuff because I know that you're really big about like biblical exegesis for the Trinity. So I definitely think that we could talk about that. That would help a lot.
Yeah, you can message me anytime, Bryce. Honestly, that's my bread and butter. That's my main thing.
Yeah.
I apologize for my crash out.
No, you're fine, John. It was entertaining.
It's okay. Justified crash out.
It's fine. You don't think that people are constantly trying to make me crash out in this chat because I'm usually so chill? People are always trying to get me to freak the hell out at some point.
That's the one area that I get really pissed off on is misquoting Father John Romanides. And I don't know why it bothers me.
You had a question about metaphysitism.
Yeah, man, what's up?
So I know there's like a consubstantial argument, but like since they nominally hold to EED, wouldn't there be an argument to be made for Jesus having two modes of existence, and how would they deal with that?
I mean, they believe in monoenergism.
That's why they're Nestorians, even though they don't confess it.
Yeah, so so like let's say you pose the question like, is Jesus one mode of existence? They would say it's a divine human existence, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then like when you ask them like, is that identical to the Father's existence? They would have to say it's distinct qua humanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then isn't that just two modes?
Yeah, they don't deny it. You just can't say two, bro. I do not understand how their polemics work. It's freaking crazy. It's crazy as shit, bro.
In the world, bro.
Do you want to know something to instantly get them to confess diophysitism live? You want to know an easy way to get them to do that every time? So you refer to the body, right, of Christ. You know how prior to the resurrection, it wasn't in its fully glorified state, right?
Yeah.
So then you ask them simply, after Christ's body is glorified after the resurrection, what changes in the composite nature? The humanity.
Yo, what?
Yep.
So they'll just concede to that?
Yeah.
Bro, their position's annoying and weird. Like I don't ever get a consistent answer when I talk to any of them.
Well, that's because of the fact that a lot of the people that promote the Miaphysite argumentation, a lot of them are not historically following what actual Severan Christology is. Like, for example, like Agan is using more of like a modern argumentation against diophysitism and not using the argumentation that Severus was promoting. He uses the Severan dilemma, but like on complete steroids and like a complete like an analytical perspective.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Like, they just steal a bunch of principles from like analytic philosophy. Like,
they also love Scotus, by the way. They love Duns Scotus. They like his. They believe that the EED is Scotist, in their view.
Oh, so they hold to like a SCOTUS EED?
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's why their theosis is all cooked, and they also don't believe in theosis the way we do.
Yeah, that's broken. Bro, I just had that question because I asked another Miaphysite about that, about the two modes, and he's like, I don't even know how to respond. I was like, that's fair.
Pope Shenouda outright rejected a type of theosis, and especially the way that we hold to it. I don't remember which book it was, but that was one of their popes, Pope Shenouda.
They have like 10 Pope Shenoudas, bro.
Yeah,
it was the most recent one.
Oh, okay.
All right, God bless. Christos Anesti.
God bless. Halitos
Anesti. I'm still like steaming.
Did it let you boost the live at all?
John, do you want something to lighten the mood?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, please.
They tossed me at the chant stand at Vespers tonight.
Oh, that's good. That makes me happy.
It made me nervous, and I don't think I've ever sweat that much in church.
Exactly. That's the whole point. They threw me. Listen, no, even crazier. They threw me in during Holy Week. Granted, it was 6:30 in the morning when it started. So it was only like, no, for 6:30 in the morning, there was quite a few people there. It also had me kind of, flustered. But
hey,
they're like,
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You forgot an announcement.
I was just gonna ask about school. I was gonna ask Schoolboy regarding the Discord stuff. What happened? You didn't really say anything.
Oh, it was stupid. It was really dumb. Like, they were talking a bunch of crap about me before I came in. Jason messaged me saying, "Hey, they're mocking you." I came in. They got quiet. I brought it up. They said nothing. I played tempo and chess. Tempo beat me in chess. I left.
GG.
Oh boy, did you ever try to explain to Bryce why I'm so good at chess?
Wait, John, find me now.
I'm driving. Like,
Wise Dutch.
John is actually really good at chess.
And that's
That's
funny
fine. He
because
beats me with all my friend who's a national master.
I can't actually. Yeah, go ahead.
Which is funny because you can't actually picture any of the moves.
No, I can't. I have the most severe form of aphantasia where I can't actually picture anything.
John thinks in Platonic concepts.
I literally access the perfect Platonic forms.
You have access to the Platonic forms?
Yeah, that's the only way I can think.
It's literally a pipeline form. Like it's purely a pipeline because there is no medium. There is no brain that actually interacts and allows him to imagine the form.
He directly
It's
participates in the forms themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start saying that.
I'm telling your priests.
How do you even know that, bro? Platonic forms.
Access the Platonic forms.
I have access to the Platonic forms.
I don't need a brain. I just simply am there.
The Platonic form is proper to Albanian.
Oh my gosh, my godson made a joke. He said, keep your mind in Albania, but despair not.
That's funny.
I texted my godmother. As some of you know, my godmother is a 90-year-old French-Russian
iconographer.
Yeah, iconographer. And I texted her today. And I used the Russian word for godmother when I texted her. I said, "Good afternoon, godmother." And her response was, "Congratulations on your Russian. No, I won't be in town today."
What is godmother in Russia? Is it Bogo what?
No, it's give me 1 second. I'm so bad with foreign languages.
After he says this, I'm probably gonna end up going because I'm really tired tonight. I'm freaking.
At least you got to witness me crash out for the first time.
Yeah, that was enjoyable.
Yeah, you got absolutely swamped. We were
Wait,
swamped. What are you so
John,
swamped
Schoolboy,
for?
does this mean we take it to the Discord for a little bit?
I believe
What
it's Krechenaya.
Kadeshnaya? What are you so swamped from?
John, does that sound about right?
Me?
Yeah.
I'd have to see
Yard
the
work.
spelling.
Oh, work. I mean, you still do
I
IT stuff, don't you?
I enjoy mowing my lawn, but I have a
Oh, yard
but
work. You said.
yard work.
Krechenaya.
I love mowing my lawn, but my backyard is 5,800 square feet, so it's freaking tough.
Holy cow! Do you wait? You don't have one. You sit down. You don't have the.
No, I'm a
Here,
man.
I'll post it. I'll post it in the chat.
Get out of here! If a Hispanic man can do that and my yard looks nice, you can do it too.
He's doing it for money. I'm not.
Yeah, but it's okay. Do you use sand at all?
Why would I use sand? I just mow my lawn.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you're not on grass talk or lawn talk.
I am
Where
on lawn talk.
am.
I understand. I understand
dude,
the
I
point of
am.
putting sand in a lawn. I don't need to put sand in my lawn.
Okay,
at least
well,
two
no. Bryce, this is what you don't understand. There's three
He doesn't
levels.
get it.
There's three levels of wealth, right? You mow your own lawn is step one. Step two is you pay someone to mow your own lawn, and step three is you mow your own lawn.
Exactly.
Yeah, I went through all of those
Do you,
stages.
you put the seed down? I mean, dude, what do you know? Do you really know? Seed down. I'm talking about layers of grass. I'm talking about the thing that you, like I forget the
Testing
two
the
years.
pH,
guys.
testing the
Okay, guys.
pH balance of the soil.
Okay, do you? Okay, I'm
You
gonna
know.
go beyond that real quick. Do you guys want a little bit of schoolboy lore? I worked
Yes.
I worked at a golf course for 5 years. I was on ground.
You're a lawn legend.
I have a fair share of agronomy knowledge.
Oh my gosh.
Schoolboy, why did you forget the fourth level of riding mower?
No, it's not a riding. It's never a riding mower for your own lawn. What are you talking about?
No, I'm
So
talking about like suburban white hat.
so wait. So you know that little pogo thing they use where they
Do
press
you know that
down
you
and
can?
pull up
Do you know that you
sections?
can only cut 1/3 of a blade of grass before you damage it and open it up to disease? So
One
if you're
third of a blade of grass.
so if you're going to shorten the length of your lawn, you actually have to do it gradually.
And you can't do it just a
You
wholesale
can,
chop.
you'll scalp it. You'll cut into the heart of the blade of grass. And the thing is, you need to, if you want to establish a lush and just like very dense lawn, you actually have to cut it short, because the shorter you cut it, the more it forces it to put the energy downward and outward. Because grass grows in three ways. It grows first, it establishes itself up so it can get sunlight. Then it reaches out, and then it reaches down.
Mm.
So if you want it to actually get established, you need to take off 1/3 of the length of grass, just above that, multiple times. So you have to cut it like 3 times a week if you're really trying to push it to grow deep and out.
This dude's a geek.
I love
mean,
golf.
this is
golf.
this is ball knowledge.
This is
So when
elite
you
ball knowledge.
so like for any fairway, is it what the standard height or length for grass is what, like
No.
2 inches is 2 inches less than 2 inches?
It's less than 2 inches for fairways,
Yeah,
bro. Like
for
you're talking
fairways.
literally. No, you're talking like hundredths of an inch. And so like
Yeah.
when we used to cut greens, we would stimp them at about 10 to 11. And a stimp is it's a meter that you use, and what it is essentially you put a golf ball in this straight edge, and it has a notch for the golf ball, and you lift up the straight edge until gravity takes over and the golf ball starts rolling, right? And the stimp rating is how fast the green rolls on a flat surface.
So you have to measure the speed of the ball, how fast the speed potentially the
On the
ball
greens,
could
on the
roll
greens, yes. So for private courses, yes, they will literally put on their board. Like I worked at the number 2 9-hole course in the world,
Oh shit.
and
Oh shit.
I know it's a 9-hole course. It's like the redheaded stepchild of golf courses. I understand, but there's a lot of legacy, and it was an absolutely immaculate course design. It was immaculately kept. We would cut those greens to 110 thousandths of an inch.
How do you humanly
Bro said,
do that?
Bro said grass petition. This is why I quit.
It's agronomy.
This is why I quit grassology. There's too many sweats.
It's really funny. The place that I debated Cliff at UMass Amherst, they actually have one of the top agronomy programs in the country.
Bro, there's a program for this?
Yeah, dude. No,
And people, I'm guessing
agronomy is specifically the study of grass. And
yeah.
like if you're going to be a golf course superintendent, you get an agronomy degree.
Wow. So if you get your so imagine if I did got my BA or whatever, then I went and did 2 more years, got my master's or whatever, and I could potentially do an internship or something like that for the masters in Georgia.
No, so oddly enough, one of the former superintendents at the course that I worked at, and it's a very, very it's one of those things. It's more relationship based. Like when you get into the upper echelons of society, like it's always based on relationship. He was a golf course superintendent. He became the assistant superintendent of the Brookline Club, which is like the golf course near Boston, super exclusive, that denied Tom Brady membership for 5 years.
Why would who denies Tom Brady? How do you deny Tom Brady?
It's that exclusive. They shot him down for 5 years. And
can you get a PhD in agronomy?
Yeah.
Is it wait?
I don't know what you would have to do to get a PhD, but I'm sure you could.
Was it run? Was it schoolboy? Quick question. Was this club? Is it the owners? Were they of a certain background?
The country club is one of the oldest country clubs in the United States, and it's where the U.S. Open was held 2 years ago. And he was the assistant. He took position wise. He went from head superintendent at the club that I worked at to the assistant superintendent there. And as the assistant superintendent, he was in charge of 3 holes.
3 entire.
That was his whole job, was 3 golf holes.
And he had to do it to perfection.
And let me guess, all 3 were oh my gosh, all 3 were par 5s, huh?
No.
Hey, I'm adding a new server, by the way, to the partnerships. It's a smaller community, so I'm going to help them out.
Which one?
The Orthodome.
Okay.
They reached out to you.
I was approached by, just so you know, I was approached by Christian University, but after going in there and vetting it, they had yeah, exactly. They had prayer services led by Maronites, all this weird stuff, and I was like, nope.
No, they're not denomination based at all. It's just Christianity, in a generic sense.
Oh, jeez, it's just a pro.
And that's what I asked when they reached out to me. They're like, "Come check it out." So I did, and I was like, "Yeah, no, this is Ecumenism Hub 101. No,
let's partner with Joel server."
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, that would have been a lot of freaking annoying ass people joining our server if we would have accepted that.
Yep.
Let's partner with the Folk Institute.
I can deal. Dude,
the server.
I think Bryce would have a good conversation with Joel just because of his demeanor.
Yeah, but Joel starts spurting at them. He starts being.
But Bryce has more patience than all of us.
True.
Yes. Wait, in rank of patience, who on this panel so far? Wait, Temple, are you baptized yet? You're baptized yet, right?
No.
Oh.
28 the next month, dog.
Okay.
No. Tempo eats Little Caesars. He has 0 patience. He wants instant pizza.
Okay.
Who says I get it hot and ready? Wait. I do not get it hot and ready. I actually order what I eat, and then they cook it, and then I get it out of the oven.
That's the same as a hot.
What's wrong with you? No, it is not. Not at all.
It literally is.
This is how I know y'all don't know what the frick y'all are talking about.
Out of the 4, Bryce, John, Schoolboy, and I, patience wise, who would you say from
Definitely not you.
least patient? No, I don't crash out. I get passionate.
Yeah.
I don't crash
No,
out.
you're always on 100.
I keep the
you were
same.
yelling.
I don't yell.
Remember, you were talking about how that lady was looking at you like you were crazy at the gym because you were yelling about atheism.
I wasn't. Listen, I wasn't yelling. I was speaking passionately and punctually.
Yeah.
I don't raise my voice. I just have a very My voice
Okay,
travels. I have a deep voice. It travels. I
I
don't
can give a
get
ranking
I
for
don't
it.
yell.
I can give a ranking for it, right? Okay, so the person with the least amount of patience here is 100% schoolboy.
Nah,
Least. Yes.
nah.
Yes.
It depends who.
Second least any Protestant in existence. Second, second least patient is
Might
Zay.
be John.
Third
No,
is
no, no. It might be
John,
John.
and
No, it
then
might be
the
John.
last, who's the most patient, is Bryce.
No, actually,
Okay,
it's
no,
actually no, no. It's
I'd give
John. He
Zay more
crashed out over Father
patience than me.
Romanides.
Look, the crash out over that's the first time you've ever seen me crash. I've
That is
crashed
the
out
first time I've seen
twice.
Fair
you
enough.
crash out.
Look, I've crashed out twice, and one was about Kosovo getting money from the U.S., and the other one was about Father John Romanides Mispos. All right,
The
Fair
crash out
enough.
on Kosovo was legendary.
I didn't see that.
schoolboy listened to me chimp out for like.
No, he literally, dude, it went on and on. He's like, what good do they have with money? They're literally only gonna feed it to the goats. He's like, what good do they have with $94 million a year?
Oh, when the USA came out.
Well, yeah. We were going through in dire cord. We were going down the list of countries that the U.S. has sent money to, and we got to Kosovo, and John lost it.
You should have lamented. It
It's
Bro,
crazy.
I need to get freaking vetted into that cord, bro. This is annoying.
Wait, well, you've been sitting
How
in
long have you
vetting
been
for a
waiting?
while?
Bro, I've been in vetting for like 3 weeks.
Well, that's because you're in Blackernay, right?
Huh? Oh,
You're in
snap, you're
Blackernay,
right.
right?
They
Yeah,
can
you're not.
see. They can see who you're associated with.
Yeah, you ain't getting in, bro.
Bruh.
Get out of Blackernay and
Bro, they got
leave
so
that
many
thing.
good sources, bro.
Yeah, and there's so many bad ones in Blackernay, so leave.
Leave it and go to Direcord. What the heck?
Yeah, you got a point.
What
All
what
right, I
use
love
would you have in
Blackernay.
Blackernay?
Watch, you're gonna
Look.
get accepted in like 20 minutes.
They've known for Blackernay for enough time. They're troublemakers. Bryce, have you ever spoke to Vaude?
Vaude? No.
Yeah, no.
He's only on Twitter, bro.
Dude,
He doesn't do anything else.
No, he has a
he used to
Discord.
be.
Oh,
He used to be
yeah,
on TikTok.
but I don't want to join his Discord though. His Discord.
No,
is like,
don't.
Is
No,
you know
who. Yeah, you know who's like all mods in his Discord.
Units, right?
All the Blackernay mods.
Yeah, the black yeah.
Dude, our server has a lot of freaking joining power. It's not even funny. As soon as I partnered with this guy, bro, like freaking 12 people just instantly joined their server.
Yeah.
Yo, what's it called,
How did
Bryce?
they
You said
approach
you were
you?
talking to Kata earlier. Was it on the inherited guilt spurging?
No, I was talking with Kata about Augustine because Cataclysm thought that he sent me a quote from Augustine where he like supposedly retracts that baptism of desire thing that St. Augustine was affirming. And then when I showed him how that doesn't actually retract any of that, he actually said, "Oh, my apologies. I did not know the context behind it."
Oof.
So
He was saying that Saint Augustine retracted and did not believe in baptism by desire. Was that what his position was?
yeah.
Okay.
And then when I showed him, obviously, that's not what the context actually shows, he just said, "Oh, okay, my bad."
Would you say baptism by desire, maybe not dogmatized in a strong sense universally, but
It's just
I
consensus.
guess like
It's
more
consensus
low,
of the
yeah,
body.
consensus. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's
Because
considered.
everything doesn't have to be
It's not considered
necessarily
it's not considered heresy to deny, but it's impious.
You have to look at what the telos of baptism is as a whole. Being the telos of baptism is the changing of the inner man or a circumcision of the heart. And if we were to reject things like baptism of desire, we should reject them. That the tears of Saint Gregory were efficacious for Emperor Trajan, in so much as he did not receive suffering after Saint Gregory's supplication.
Hey, John, question for you.
Yes.
Do you believe that the desire, the grace that's provided to you from your desire, if you die prior to baptism, does that replace the sacrament?
It's not a replacement, it's a type.
Okay.
It can't be a replacement for the sacrament. Just like we're not saying that that martyrdom is a replacement for the sacrament. It's a type of baptism. It's not a replacement for baptism.
Not the thing itself. Would you say it's an incomplete? It's an incomplete form of the referent, in like the actual
They
sacrament of baptism.
they might not have the fullness of grace imparted to them by baptism. However, martyrs receive a higher level, or they receive a very high crown in the kingdom of heaven. Um, uh, but when we're
Mm.
talking about like baptism by desire, to whom much is given, much is expected. If you have that can be applied to even baptism. If you have a church near you and you're saying, "Oh, I want to be baptized," but you never go and be baptized, well, guess what? That's going to be counted against you. If you have no church near you and you are currently in a position where like, oh, I'm unable to get to an Orthodox church. My heart is inclined towards Orthodoxy.
What the hell is that?
What the heck is that?
What the?
Sorry, I was watching Maximos's announcement. My bad.
I thought I was tripping.
Have you guys seen it?
Yes, the cat.
It's just a low
No, bro,
quality
I thought I was
video of a
going
cat making
crazy.
funny noises. He
Anyway,
added everyone for that. It's crazy.
I love Maximus so much. Anyway, it's not a replacement for baptism. I don't know exactly how much grace is imparted to them, but um, in the same way that they would desire it, as is said by Saint Augustine, they would have received it. In so much as but that doesn't mean that like don't try to go and not get baptized. That means that there's exceptions to the rule, you know.
Man,
Oh.
freaking Dostoevsky freaking was not a fan of the westernizing Russians, was he? Holy shit. I also read
Absolutely
that. I also read
beautiful.
that too.
Wait, what is it in
What
the
brought
it's in
this
the
up?
chat?
It's in the announcements. Maximo's posted it.
Before the stream, Bryce, I brought this up.
No, I was reading the quote from Dostoevsky just now, and I was just like, "Holy shit, he is not happy."
That's what
with
I
the
was
Russians that
referencing.
we're
That's
doing.
what I was referencing when we were talking before the stream.
Wait, read it out loud.
The intellectuals were the first ones to fall.
I'll read it real quick, and then I'm gonna go. Therefore, this is Dostoevsky. Therefore, if you are Russian, affiliate yourself with the Russians, affiliate yourself with Western ideas and submerge yourself into the intellectual tradition of the West. You are spitting on your Orthodox faith and your Slavic heritage. We know of many Russians online who do so. Then you ask them about the great authors from Russia, and wait. I don't think he said that.
No, this is Maximos expounding.
Oh shit! I thought Dostoevsky says that, but then it says Russians online who do so, and I was like, wait a minute.
No, read Maximos's quote though. Like it's worth quoting.
Yeah, I'll read Maximos himself. Submerge yourself with the intellectual tradition of the West. You are spitting on your Orthodox faith and your Slavic heritage. We know of many Russians online who do so. Then ask them about the great authors from Russia, and they know nothing about their pen. Yet they know about certain Catholic authors and scholastics, but not their own. This is called being infected with illiteracy, and it is almost an offense. This is one of the reasons why Russia fell to the Western elites, because they started to forget their Slavic heritage and their faith, and started flirting with Western ideas that consisted of lifeless philosophies. If you are Russian and have not read your great authors, which in the West we speak about, it is a shame and a mockery of your own stupidity and ineptitude to receive the mistake of how your own motherland fell to elites. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm in despair. Can often be heard even from those parishioners whose experience in the church has already enabled them to cope with many other internal problems. Melancholy, defeatism, mood swings, chronic fatigue from self and circumstances. It seems that this is characteristic of believers of modern times more so than any of other. But it's worth it to remember that the saints experienced the same feelings. Several, for example, Saint Tikhon of Zadonsk.
Oh. Oh, before you go, Bryce, would you say this is the PDF? Synod of Constantinople. Boom. Okay. 1484.
1984.
No, 1484.
It's
1484.
Dude, I said it 3 times. It's 1480.
Dude, when I put 1480, it says there's no council of synod of Constantinople in
Hold on.
1480. It
Hold
says 1484. I'm on Academia EDU.
Oh, yes, you're right. I'm sorry. I recant. 1484. I'm tripping.
I was just making sure I was. I'm like, am I sure I'm going crazy?
You are correct.
Oh. Is this the same PDF you have?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, it should.
There's a couple. There's an English translation though. That one's like, I think that's like the direct Greek.
Yeah, this is direct Greek.
I'll have to
If
find
you have
it.
the English,
Yeah, I'll have to find it for
if
you.
you do have the English, please.
I'll see if I can grab it in my little freaking Google Drive.
Because yeah, that's where I have all my files in on Apple.
Yeah, that's the council.
iOS Drive.
That's the council that canonized Gennadios. It's really cool to read.
In St. Mark of Ephesus.
Yeah, they were both canonized at the same time.
Oh, that's fire.
Which actually is more of a justification for St. Gennadios being a saint, considering the fact that he was canonized alongside St. Mark of Ephesus, and St. Mark of Ephesus
exactly
is pan-Orthodox, conciliarly a saint.
Defender of Orthodoxy.
Yeah.
It would proper to lump St. Gennadios Galarios in.
Yep. Yeah, Schoolboy, this
Anyway.
Orthodome server, really cool. I asked them all of the controversial questions. The server owner answered them all in a great way.
Beautiful.
Where can I find the server? Where can I find them in the server?
It's in the partnership channel.
Okay, I'll go check it out.
I know you're a mod in our server, Zay, and you spend 0 time in there, but
Yes, I do. Bro, hold on. Wait a minute. I do check out the mod in between when I do have time. I 100% do. I'm not just effing off.
Mans is yapping in Jim Bob's server while we're having a full conversation about trying to govern the server in the moderator chat.
I'm checking both.
I'm gonna
I'm
be a
gonna
mod
more
when I get
diligent
baptized, right?
myself.
But I freaking credit. Yeah, we'll probably make you an assistant mod once you're baptized, brother. You've been in for a long
Yay.
time.
I support that. I support that wholeheartedly, Tempo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yay.
I was gonna say.
But the only condition is that you leave Black Renee.
I already did.
Base.
W.
No.
Actually, Tempo, I might actually ban you just because you have an anime profile picture.
That's fair. We were.
Oh man,
That's
I
pretty
got you. Give
valid.
me a
Yeah,
minute.
you gotta get rid of this.
John, did you
It's
see?
gotta go.
Did you see Gooster's idea in Jim Bob's mod chat?
Well, no, I didn't see it. What was it?
I guess someone asked a Frem if they can make an anime channel in Jim Bob's server, and Gooster said, "No, I think we should make the channel so we can round them all up and ban them."
Correct.
Yeah, hey, Tempo, this anime thing's gotta go, dude.
Bro, it's Goku.
It's
I don't give
Goku,
it.
he
I don't give a
says.
damn.
It's Goku, bro.
But it's Goku.
You can't complain
Goku,
about not
bro.
being able to get a date and have a Goku an anime
What you
profile
mean,
picture
bro?
at the same time.
Goku, bro. Now y'all bugging, bro.
Tempo, I have a question.
What
Do you
up?
by any chance have like Goku themed like bed covers or something?
He's
You
got
wanna see?
Funko Pops. He has Funko Pops.
I don't actually.
Yeah.
No, my bed is with nothing on it.
Oh,
Like
you know
it's a-
what? He's got that Lone Star. You know what? Like that's a big problem.
Oh, I have
You
this
know what?
also.
It's
Schoolboy.
better than
Yo,
it's better
wash
than
those
what's
hats,
it called?
bro.
Holy shit,
They were
those
my
hats are dirty.
grandpa's. They were my
Wash 'em.
grandpa's.
Wash them.
They haven't been washed since I got them. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Of
wash them,
course they
bro.
haven't.
And then I got my study corner.
Nice.
Yeah, nigga, right there.
Tempo over
And then-
here
oh,
showing off his
Man's
sweaty
man's
abs.
room is way cleaner than mine. Like
Right.
I don't know if you guys have heard. Like I forget which
Bro
saint
got
it
the,
was.
bro got the
but
doohickey, bro. What is that?
I legitimately have stacks of books just lining my room. It's embarrassing,
Hey,
Oh, you have
Bryce,
the,
I got
the
this.
Chad with the ominous stacks.
dude. It's
Wait,
gross.
Bryce,
Is that critique
explain
of
me
pure
again.
reason?
Oh, I see that
Explain
critique
me.
of pure
Yeah.
reason,
So
bro.
I got this, and it's sitting by my manga.
Nice.
I might ban you just based on that, honestly.
Bro, I don't even read them. I had them from when I was younger,
You
like
know
from
what?
4 years
When
ago.
I pointed out, I'm like, show me the other books you don't read, and you got offended when I said don't
Dude,
read.
hold on. Mexidoc says, "Bro, gonna pick a struggle."
Oh no, this is crazy. You want to see all the books I don't read?
There's a fairy that cleans my house when I'm asleep. Is that your mother or your wife? Which one?
I was gonna say something
You
crazy.
think
Hey, bro,
these
here's
people?
all
You
the
think
books I
people
don't
have
read.
wives in this chat? Are you kidding me?
I have a fairy. I have a fairy that does a lot of things for me, man. It's pretty awesome.
These are all the books I don't read.
There's a
Your
magical
name
there's a magical
Consuela.
fairy actually that causes my house to be clean. There's a magical fairy that causes the dishes to disappear from where they originally were. There's a
Yes,
fairy,
please
there's a
show me
fairy
more
that
books.
You know who
causes the
does that in
floors
my
to be
house,
clean.
Bryce?
Who?
You know who does that in my house?
What?
Me.
Oh, well, you just got to get yourself a trad wife who'll do all that stuff.
Well,
You know what
boy,
I'm
did
saying?
you just admit to being? Did you just admit to being GAY because you're a fairy, or?
No, I'm my. You know this. I'm my grandmother's
Hey, Bryce, look at
caretaker.
this book.
No, I know. I just wanted to make the joke.
Y'all, look at this book.
Oh yeah, Schoolboy has dogmatically defined himself as the fairy that we're speaking on. The departure of the soul.
Fair.
Wow.
Fair.
Big book.
You know, this thing's freaking huge. It's the biggest book I have.
Big book.
If
He must
anyone
Oh,
read
ever,
I
hey,
also
Philokalia.
just I just got these two in.
tempo. If anyone ever asks you about the toll houses, you need to be like, "Yo, like, where do you live?" And then you show up at their house and then just hit them with that.
Thanks. I just
Yeah,
got these books in, by the
just
way.
start reading the Philokalia as a catechism. Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
hell nah. You want me to
Actually
fall into pre-list?
you actually missed a really good
Yes.
question. Somebody in the Discord last night was like, Maximus, can I ask you a question? And Maximus goes, if you were asking me the real important questions, you wouldn't be on Discord.
Exactly.
You know, I have this book, but it has not been opened yet.
I remember one time, I think it was like somebody added me and they're like, "Yo, can I ask you a question?" And like it was like 11 at night and I just said no and then went to bed.
Bryce, big screen me real quick.
Wow.
Oh
Oh, I
smokes!
also have the
One,
five
two,
Dude.
three,
volumes of the
four.
Hey,
Philokalia.
hey,
Five
schoolboy,
volumes.
Yo,
I got a
1,
better book than
2,
that.
3, 4. How many?
How many have I
Oh
read?
no.
0.
Hey, I
Why
got
have
a
you
better
read
book than that
zero?
right here.
Why have you read
Seltzer.
zero, schoolboy?
Yeah, of course I have.
Okay, wait.
I'm
Okay,
currently
drop just really quick before he goes. Drop some real quick knowledge, something some noose enlightening knowledge. Not privy
fuck
to the
you for
human
using.
mind.
Vigilance over your intellect, i.e., the noose, is the key to theosis.
I've been actually working my way through the Philokalia recently, and there are some very interesting things that all of these scholastic boys that try to make their stupid arguments would hate if they actually bothered with orthodox spirituality.
Yep.
Something I'll read
It's
before
hard to
we go.
understand.
I'm gonna read something really beautiful from Saint Philotheos Kokkinos before we go. All right.
Can you read the quote? Can you read the quote where who was it? Saint Nilo said that heretics don't need to be reasoned with; they just need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what Maximus.
he said specifically. He said those scholastics who affirm the procession from the sun don't need another syllogism. They need to be beaten with a stick. That's what it says.
That's what Maximus said. When somebody asked him, he goes, Maximus, can you give me your best critique of classical foundationalism? And
Oh, now you're
Maximus
weird.
That was
literally quoted.
Tempo
That
last
was
time.
me. That was me. I'm the one who asked that.
That's what he quoted to you.
This is Saint Philotheos Kokkinos, The Life of Palamas, page 173 of the Normal Russell book. It says, the night passed, but the intensity of the pain did not subside in any way. When the time of the mysteries drew near and called the Archbishop of God to the sacred rite, Porphyrios II, as best as he could, straightway followed behind the superior of the monastery, who was reckoned among the bishops under him and was usually invited to celebrate the liturgy with him, and became a spectator and auditor of the mystical rite. He stood somewhere near the holy altar, and when the mysteries had been celebrated straightway, he approached the saint, told him about the pain and painfully oppressed, and he's talking about Palamos, by the way. And when the mysteries had been celebrated straightway, approached the saint, told him about the pain that painfully oppressed him, and begged him to heal him as rapidly as possible by the hand of his prayer. The latter at first put him off and courteously refused the request, saying that he himself had not the ability to work such things, and asking Porphyrios not to entertain such assumptions about Palamos. But when he insisted all the more, begging him again for the holy sign by his hand and for his prayer, the great man yielded to the sufferer's need, and with his eyes on Christ, he looked up, made a sign of the cross with his hand over the presbyter's side, and recited with deep emotion the words of the sacred hymn: "Crucified by the nails, O Lord, you lifted the curse laid upon us, and pierced in the side by the lance. You tore up the bond of Adam and freed the world." And then he added what was said by the chief of the apostles to the paralytic: "Jesus Christ heals you now," and released the sufferer from that sharp pain, not gradually but immediately and completely, so that he returned home to his monastery perfectly well and miraculously restored to health. St. Gregory Palamas performed many miracles in his life. That's why he was canonized. At the Fourth Palamite Synod, actually, St. Philotheos Kokkinos stood up after his, because Palamas was dead for about 8 years prior to the synod, and when he stood up, St. Philotheos was given charge of the synod because he was best friends with Palamas. And he stood up, and before anything even happened at the synod, before they even started saying anything, he stood up and he said, Gregory Palamas needs to be canonized immediately. He's a great man who needs to be canonized as a saint. He did that immediately. First thing that was said at the synod.
Fire friend.
Was canonize my brother.
That's a fire friend. That's W-Mans, absolutely. 100%.
Can I read something that's not from a saint nor an Orthodox Christian?
Sure.
That always brings me to tears. Sure. It's frustrating when you just can't express yourself, and it's hard to trust enough to undress yourself, to stand exposed and naked in a world full of hatred, where the sick thoughts of mankind control all the sacred. I pause, take a step back, record all the setbacks, fast forward towards the stars in a jetpack. My feet might fail me, my heart might ail me. The synagogues of Satan might accuse or jail me. Strip crown nail me, brimstone hail me. They might defeat the flesh, but they can never ever kill me. They might feel them. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, it's one of the most powerful. Like, I don't know. I think that a lot of people give rap a bad name, but when you have verses like this, like, they might defeat the flesh, but they can never ever kill me. They can feel the music, but can never ever feel me. To the lawyers, to the sheriffs, to the judges, to the debt holders and the lawmakers, fuck you, sue me, bill me. That name on the birth certificate, that ain't the real me. The lies can't conceal me. The sunrise and the moon tides and the sky's gonna reveal me. My brain pours water on my tear ducts to heal me. My Lord's too beneficent. The message grab a hold of every ear it get whispered in. The waters in the bayous of New Orleans still glistening. The universe is listening. Be careful what you say in it. My grandma told me every bed make, he lay in it. The church you go to pray in it. The work is on the outside. Staring out the windows is for love songs and houseflies.
Nice. That's legit. He said hardest F-bomb of 2025. Bro, Zay, these freaking videos that you're sending me of like black people like abusing the algorithm by saying the N-word really hard has freaking got me dying, bro.
Bro, they're hilarious.
Zay's been sending me these super freaking funny videos of like black people that are abusing the algorithm by like freaking saying, "Why are you guys being such a
yeah?" They'll be like
hard R.
Yeah,
They're not getting banned.
Why are you ears being such like? Why are you guys doing this? It'll be like a casual, I don't know,
like this
conversation.
is so ridiculous. I don't understand why you guys always think you need to do this. You guys are such.
You guys are such a bunch of. Isn't it just widespread now on TikTok?
It's
a
so
bunch of black people just doing this.
Just for anyone that wants to look up the song that I just shared, it's from J Electronica, actually. and it's called Better in Tune with the Infinite. It's actually really hard to find. You won't find it on streaming platforms. It is on SoundCloud of all places.
Oy vey.
But it's one of those songs. Dude, if you go to YouTube and like try to find this, you'll find quote unquote the song, and it will be like a blank audio file.
That's weird that it's not publicly available.
You should DM him. See if he's interested in Orthodoxy.
That's by design. And dude, Jay Electronica used to date one of the Rothschilds. You think he doesn't know what the hell he's doing?
Yeah.
Alright, I changed my anime profile pic in the server for you, John.
Do it on here.
Bro wants to be a mod.
He wants to be. It
I
was
do.
thrust upon me, and I despise it every day.
You said what?
It was, wasn't it?
It was. You just made me a mod one day. Like I didn't ask for it.
Well, I mean, you're
like
just
I'm a mod
base,
now.
schoolboy.
Dude, the same thing happened in Jim Bob's server.
That's funny. Oh, really quick before you go, Schoolboy and Bryce, or just everybody. Parker's now posting videos of apologetics, and he just did one. Wi-Fi Gospel quoted on Twitter, where he asked someone, "So you're a cannibal? Do you eat? Do you take communion? So you're a cannibal?" That's the
new point.
Tight stuff.
So Dean wasn't being genuine.
I don't know.
Of course not. It's the same thing as when what's his name came up and started asking you a bunch of questions. Ian.
But Ian had no clue. He had no. Well, I don't know. Ian had no clue what the position was.
I was about to say Ian also like never like took anything that I said and then used it after that.
No, he did. He strawmanned it.
When?
He used it and turned it back on Protestants that he was debating.
Like what?
Really?
Like saying that like orthodoxy. Like what do you mean turned it on orthodoxy?
Energies in essence.
No, just understanding like a better understanding, a more coherent theological position, and he understood how to deconstruct other positions better after that conversation. It was literally like a week later, not even, that there was a conversation that he had where it was like, oh, okay, like I see where this came from.
Did he mention the energies at all and go attack like from the historic? Because here's the thing: Dean was asking about the historic. I'm assuming he's doing this like a MAGA people, because I guess that's their target, and people who are typically MAGA are like evangelical or whatever. Right? So he's asking John. He's asking John about the history of the Bible, right? Like canonization and stuff like that. Like how the Bible? How do we get the Bible? Who's Martin? Is Marcion? He thought Marcion was a saint for a minute until Nick said something. Oh, what the heck? But yeah, he was looking into it. I don't know if he's inquiring. I don't know what he is.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna. Dean. He came up asking about orthodoxy on Big John Steele's live. But it'd be to everyone's advantage if Dean spoke to Bryce.
Yeah, that'd be. I mean, like I said, like I'm definitely open to that. It's just he's got to have the time to come do that because he doesn't usually do anything at night.
He's making them.
No, I don't know. He's
making them.
He remember before TikTok shut down, like that the night of the TikTok shut down, or Andrew Wilson, he did a raid on Dean where it was like 10 of them up there, like Dean, Parker, Harry, all of them were there, and then they asked the question like, "Is being GAY is that bad?" And Andrew was like, "What's the criteria for bad? Like let's parse out terms." And then Parker crashed out like full out. Andrew posted it, full crashed out. Worked out. When did it say? Started screaming.
Yeah, has Jim Bob debated them?
They won't touch Jim Bob. They won't do it. They don't debate theology, do they? Debate like
no, not theology. I'm talking about like
just anything,
Jim Bob
like no, they won't touch that, dude. No, absolutely not. They won't touch that. They won't touch that with a 1,000-yard pole. Absolutely not. No. Because the people they look to, Jim Bob destroyed them in debate. So
what's up?
Hold on, can you guys hear this video that I'm watching?
No. Is the Parker one?
Barely.
Hold on.
I do want to talk about that word autocrat that Leo said. I was just telling my wife this like an hour ago. I was talking to her, and I wouldn't be shocked, and I know this is far fetched. I wouldn't be shocked if Pope Leo is aware of the debate because he's in Chicago. The debate was had on Matt Fradd's channel between Eric Ibarra and Ubi Petra, which is a big channel, so it's possible that he is aware of the the discussions. Because I've never heard a Pope use the word autocrat, but I've only heard Ubi Petrus use the word autocrat. It comes from, I haven't really heard anybody else use it in apologetics besides Ubi Petrus. And that's the word that was debated on Matt Fradd's channel between Eric and Ubi. So it is very possible, I know it's far-fetched, I'll give it a 2% chance that he actually is aware that this is happening online discussions because he lived in Chicago. He probably knows who Matt Fradd is. And he maybe kind of purposely said the word autocrat to kind of signal like you guys are wrong about the papacy. So again, far-fetched, but
Yeah. So Pope Leo, this is canon now. Pope Leo had to reference Ubi Petrus to try to refute
I
him.
think this is actually an older clip talking about Pope Francis. I'm not positive though.
Pope Francis. Pope Francis or Pope Leo?
I think this is an older clip, considering that they were talking about the Ubi and Eric Ibarra debate.
Pope Leo knows who Jay Dyer is, though.
Mm-hmm.
So
he does.
He 100% knows who Jay is.
Pope Leo and Jay Dyer debate 2026.
Luigi. Dude, Luigi said if the Pope is literally responding to our apologists, then we are the main character. And then
That's what I said. That's what I said.
And then Christian Mario goes, "Goat talk. I wonder what the Pope thinks of us."
Who knows? Pope Leo might know who Bryce J is.
And then someone posted the picture of Patriarch with
Bartholomew.
Bartholomew and Pope Leo, and it said, "Your all holiness, did you catch the debate with Jay Dyer and Sam Shamoon?"
They know who Sam Shamoon is. Pope Leo definitely knows who Sam Shamoon is. That's weird.
Dude, I'm desperately hoping that like Pope Leo like reaches out to Sam Shamoon and says, "Yo, you're not representing us at all." Like I'm freaking hoping because I feel like he's not good. Like Sam Shamoon's never gonna understand like any of that. Like Sam Shamoon's not gonna understand. No, I'm saying that like he's not going to like understand that he's ridiculous even in the Catholic world. Like unless like the guy says, "Hey, you're ridiculous. I'm literally the
like
vicar.
his activity.
I'm
He's obscene.
literally the vicar of Christ." Like unless
the
he
Pope
says something,
the
Pope is never gonna understand.
The Pope.
Yeah. So, frankly, I think that you're not Catholic, Sam, and as the Pope, I officially declare you anathema.
John, where are you? So John obviously has an accent. You should hear his Chicago accent. John, come back, please.
Ubi Petrus and Pope Leo in a debate 2026.
Jay Dyer.
If you hear John's Chicago accent, just imagine if he talked like this all the time.
Hello.
Yo.
You said something?
Yeah. Can you speak in your Chicago accent for a little bit?
Like you're Pope Leo from Chicago.
Like I'm Pope Leo?
Yeah.
All right, everybody, you got to listen up here for a second. We're about to talk about the next papal bull. It's Michael Jordan, okay?
That's pretty good.
We need to figure out
we're
filioque.
No, we have already figured it out. We figured it out. It was accepted at the Council of Florence, all right? The same thing that was accepted at the Council of Florence was putting ketchup on a hot dog is now a venial sin. Actually, it's a mortal sin. You're going to go straight to hell.
If you mess with the Bears, equally a venial sin, straight to hell.
Listen, we all know that dogs don't go to heaven, but the Bears sure might. All right.
I was dropping.
This is that is the best evidence I have of like when they say that America's a melting pot, no, keep it a mixed salad. Do not let it be a melting pot because I don't want a world where John speaks in a Chicago accent.
Yeah, I don't need none of that. All right, I'm getting out of here. See ya.
God bless.